6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. It's official. Nashville will host Super Bowl 64 at New Nissan Stadium in 2030. Nashville was voted unanimously as they did not see any opposed votes at the spring owners meeting in Orlando yesterday. The Titans and Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation will hold a press conference coming up later this morning at Nissan Stadium at 9 o'clock. Another NFL news yesterday, the Minnesota Vikings are the NFL draft hosts in 2028. It was approved yesterday with U.S. Bank Stadium serving as the hub spot. And also the owners approved the ability to play up to 10 international games per season. In the Eastern Conference final of the NBA playoffs last night, Jalen Brunson scored 38 points, and the New York Knicks rallied from behind 22 points to win 115-104 over the Cleveland Cavaliers in overtime to take Game 1, one of the New York Knicks' largest comebacks in their playoff history. And Tennessee baseball, they took down South Carolina in the first round of the SEC tournament in Hoover, Alabama yesterday, 11-6. They move on to play Arkansas this afternoon in the second round at 4:30 coming up on SEC Network. Vanderbilt also won in the first round yesterday, beating Kentucky 8-5, and they'll move on to play Florida in the second round today at 1 o'clock. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A Wednesday edition of Ramon and Will on your home for the Titans and the Vols, 104.5 The Zone. I am not Will Bowling. He is on assignment doing some state track championships up on the hill in Knoxville. But I am joined by the ever-present 11-year veteran of the National Football League and Vol for Life, Ramon Foster.
Yay.
And it is good to be with you, Ramon, on a hump day.
I'm going to say to you, happy hump day, man. Today should be a good day. By the way, we see, and you're in with us a lot in the mornings, or you come in soon after we do, and just shout out to the morning crew of people that are on the highways this morning, Rhett, because we see the change of seasons happening on the earth. Like, I'm amazed at before 6 a.m. in the morning, it is broad daylight outside right now. Like sunrise, I don't know if I have it on my phone right now, but sunrise has to be about 5:50 in the morning now.
I would say you're right. I'd say you're right in on the money there. We're getting towards the what would that be called? Is it the summer solstice?
Summer solstice,
longest day of the year.
Pay attention to science. That's what that is.
There it is.
A good old Tennessee education, man, at Lauderdale Middle Schools.
There it is.
Doing that type of stuff. I actually saw them. They changed the name on us now. We were in LMS. What's the name of my school in West Tennessee? Lauderdale Middle School is Lauderdale County. Okay. And now it's Ripley Middle School. And, like, I'll accept it, but I don't like it. You know, it's just one of those things. They're naming it after the city, which is cool. But I like the old name of LMS at first.
So what you're saying is Ripley's, believe it or not.
Believe it or not. Now I have to. They, I actually have a situation. They asked me for next year's recruiting class. What world am I in right now?
I don't know.
Next year's graduation class to be the commencement speaker or whatever. So
seriously?
I'm geeked up about it.
Hey, man, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
I'm a year out. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, you got plenty of time to prepare.
Go
ahead and start your writing.
Yeah, I'm with Jayhawk on that. Justin Hawkins behind the glass making it happen as usual, by the way. You got a lot of time, but it's going to go fast because Miles and RJ are just growing up like crazy.
And he graduates next year.
Yeah, so I'm just, you're in a huge, like, life cycles. Like, you're in a very important one right now.
Yeah.
But, you might want to put pen to paper or put open notes in your phone and start pecking around with at least a rough idea.
No doubt.
And then you can, listen, you'll crush it. You'll have it fleshed out and ready to go when it's time. But if you'll do yourself a little favor and jot down. You know, it's one of those things like songwriters you hear about. They wake up in the middle of the night and jot down stuff. on a pad by the bedside or notes on a phone, and then they wake up and write a hit song or
Absolutely.
Just when things come to you, make a note of it.
That's what I'm lightly doing right now in a couple of situations. Just my phone notes is just vast. Okay, I got subject after subject of stuff written down. Show notes, I got combine stuff, I got draft stuff, life notes, and everything else in the midst of it, man. But that's one note that is going to be going into my phone soon because I won't take that lightly.
No. They wouldn't have asked you if you did.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Let's be honest. Right?
And the principal now at Ripley High School is a really good friend of mine. She graduated a class before me, and she's always been super cool. And before this year's graduation, she said, hey, I want to put it on your radar now. I want you next year because they're rebuilding the football field and the track and the stadium where I played ball at. And this will be like new Nissan Stadium, the first year and event they'll have on the field as well.
That's fantastic.
Cool stuff.
Hey, that's big time for small town West Tennessee.
Listen, I'm still trying to get my name on something down there. We've been talking. I wanted to name, like, I get it now.
Welcome to the Ramon Foster press box.
Exactly. So I wanted the field, but there's a legendary name that's already associated on it, and I think I'm going to shoot for the weight room or something right now. I have to do something.
Do something that gives homage to your path as a biggie, as I call it.
And my brother. Both of us came through there. Renardo,
yeah.
Both of us came through there. So Foster Field House or something.
And both of you wore that NFL shield.
We did. I think we're two of three that have wore the NFL shield there. So
that's big time.
That works out pretty good.
Foster Fieldhouse just makes sense.
Yes, it does. See, there's Jay
Foster Field.
You know what's fascinating too has been familiar. Like I go back, but not as often because my Friday's occupied. I got kids. I've been traveling in the NFL on Fridays or the Vols, whatever the case may be. I just haven't been able to go back as often. And my mom passed away. There's a little bit of a separation there too. Well, I don't go back as often as I probably should. I'll admit that. But I had somebody reach out to him, was like, hey, you might want to come back and visit. I was like, why? It's like, because they think Ramon Foster is a white guy here now.
You're Raymond. You're Raymond Foster.
I was just like,
oh, you mean Raymond? He hangs out to Co-op.
Exactly. Listen, we got a nice Co-op at Ripley, okay? Ace Hardware. That's why I met you guys in 98, 99, man. But with that being said, being familiar to the community is something I do want to do again. If you've looked up Ripley, Tennessee, we had a little bit of a skirmish at the graduation last week.
Oh.
Didn't make good news.
Oh.
But apparently there were fights all across Middle Tennessee in West Tennessee graduations, which is so weird.
Well, here's the thing.
So
I don't think it's just geographical. Look, when the temperature rises and it's getting towards the end of the school year, I mean, how many fist fights you see in school?
That's what it is.
Like, I went to Oakland High School in Murfreesboro, and nobody ever wanted to really do it on campus because they knew that you'd get busted and get in trouble.
Yeah.
So we went down the street to McKnight Field at the sports complex.
I know where that is. Yeah, my kids play baseball there.
I'll see you at 245 McKnight Field. You know, half the school just zooming up, showing up like, here we go. It's like Fight Club. Nobody talked about it, but everybody was there. Right?
Everybody was there. That's fascinating. McKnight. That's a nice park now, too, by the way.
It is.
That's what
it is.
You guys are putting blood on pavement over there.
Trading hands.
Hey, listen.
Talking about putting your blood, sweat, and tears into it.
No, seriously. Now that's a nice family park over there.
The borough's got a lot of stuff now that
it's so vast.
Listen, I don't even recognize my hometown. It's amazing how much it's grown.
Shout out to Murfreesboro because I think people look at it like, one, that drive down 24 gets long, I guess, for a lot of people that's going that way. I know a lot of softball, baseball happens as well. What's cool about McKnight, if I'm not mistaken, it's over by the flight school as well in Murfreesboro, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that flight school is actually moving.
Is it?
Yes.
I didn't know that, man.
That flight school is the new flight school and that's MTSU's flight school.
Yeah.
That's under construction at the Shelbyville Airport.
Get out.
That sounds like an oxymoron for people in Chevville, as they say.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Philip Noel's going, dude, it's Chevville. Come on, man.
That's the first thing I thought of Philip Noel at Chevville. Or Will when he's in here since Chevville.
But it is over by the Murfreesboro Airport. That's exactly right.
That's cool. And they got a huge equestrian school, too, at MTSU.
Yes, they do.
Well.
Yes, they do.
But to that point, it's a lot of land out there in Murfreesboro, and I guess, of course, the airport being there and the equestrian school where it comes down to storing horses. is easier down south than it is anywhere else around here. You say your fight destination was McKnight Park. Ours in Ripley was at Rice Park.
Okay, so
right across the street by the basketball courts is where it went down.
Not on campus.
Not on campus.
Just adjacent to, right?
Yes, just adjacent to. Speaking of fights, Rice, Rashee Rice is going to have to fight probably with his 30 days. He's going to have to go sit down in jail because of a marijuana violation.
And do rehab while he's there.
Is he? Yeah. No, not like drug rehab.
Oh, no. But he had surgery on his knee.
Correct.
Knee rehab. What a time. I was listening to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe on the way in. Just break that down a little bit. And I actually was thinking back on Rashee Rice's pathway that he's kind of gone on to. Of course, the speeding issue that he's had, going over 100 plus miles per hour in a Lamborghini down the highway. They said, I read up on that one, said that he had to pay one of the victims over $2 million, or they got a $2 million settlement either through his insurance or through his pay, which is just not okay in any capacity.
No, because he didn't get big money.
Not like that.
He hadn't gotten to the second contract yet.
Like, I know we throw dollars and numbers around in the NFL, but $2 million is still $2 million. You
better believe it.
And to think that he didn't learn his lesson from there, 5 years probation, which is why he's going back to jail right now, got caught with marijuana in his bloodstream. And while on probation, there's certain rules that you can and cannot do, certain things that you can and cannot do. And smoking is one of those things, man. And I hate seeing these type of situations. I played with a player that dealt with this type of stuff, though, too, the substance abuse, Martavis Bryant. He was a guy.
Who could have had such a really good – he was a really good prospect coming out of college.
He was supposed to be DeAndre Hopkins 2.0. Like, he had the size. He had the same amount of speed, big hands. He dropped
huge catch radius.
Huge catch radius. Yep. I saw this guy catch a football in the middle of the game, do a cartwheel, attach the football to his hamstring, spin around, and make a touchdown play. Like, that's the talent that he had. I've said this before privately. Like, he was one of those types of guys that if you tell him something, you got to be careful what you tell him. And I felt bad about telling him something one time because I think, not felt bad, but just in hindsight, just like, well, maybe I shouldn't have said it out loud to him. And I told Tay, as we try to mentor guys in the league and try to tell young guys, like, man, this is for you. I did it with another guy, Deontay Johnson, just told him, like, bro, if you do this, you're going to be taken care of. And he finally did, and he got paid. I told Martavis one time, I was like, you like a $70 million walking if you just walked a straight line. And I looked at him when I said it, and his eyes were like lit up. And I'm like, was that a moment in time for him to where he decided, well, I'll just go do what I want to at this point because I know I'll get paid in the end if I make plays. But the league has policies. As we're learning now, the NFL is trying to make this world that they operate in big as can be. We'll discuss, of course, at some point.
Yes, we will.
You know, the more international games. And, like, they have certain rules in place, and guys that don't abide by those rules, man, when it comes down to substance abuse or legal issues, you get reprimanded. And Rashee Rice is another one of those guys who just, as Hawk said, had a knee procedure and now has to go sit 30 days in jail.
Not a good look.
With no medical help whatsoever because of a decision he made on the wrong side of bad decisions again.
Yeah, I would imagine rehab in prison's probably not great.
No, I mean,
like non-existent, maybe.
Non-existent. You think they got ice and bags in there for him and a stem?
No, because somebody's gonna use him as a weapon.
Exactly.
Do a code red on somebody.
Man, can you imagine what they do with a stem machine in there?
Oh my God!
Like, goodness gracious!
Fried.
No, seriously.
They put those leg compression socks, those things, having something around somebody's throat.
Yeah,
it'd be bad.
Seriously, you choosing to break the law and your rules and guidelines on probation to go spend times with these dudes. Like,
look,
wow.
You mentioned that with Rashee Rice. Some headlines from the NFL from yesterday. Obviously, the big one for us, and we're going to discuss throughout the morning, is Super Bowl 64 in 2030 will be at new Nissan Stadium. We're going to talk about the economic impact of that. Is Nashville ready for it? All the things that come with that, and what set the stage for all of that many years ago. I think some interesting things. You mentioned the international games. We'll get to that later on in the show about how they want to continue to expand that. They've maxed it out. But the NFL draft in 2028 has been awarded to Minneapolis, so home of the Vikings. That's where all of that will be. It's in Washington in 2027. Minnesota gets awarded that. I think the other thing, I saw a story this morning, and I'd forgotten about this, in Brian Flores' lawsuit with the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
That filings reveal that his lawyers served subpoenas to 25 teams. And it says served more than 1,000 discovery requests in an attempt to obtain league-wide hiring records and communications related to discrimination claims. Because if you remember that lawsuit, because he's been in a lawsuit with the league for like 4 years.
It's been a while, yeah.
People forget. He was fired as the head coach after they posted their first back-to-back winning seasons in Miami in quite some time, many, many years.
Yes.
And then you remember some of the discovery and what he claimed through his attorneys is that Dolphins owner Stephen Ross was going to pay him $100,000 per game to tank for draft position.
Yeah.
And man, obviously they'll never want that to come to the light of day because you're talking about, it's what fans always speculate on. It's always what people bet on it now with predictive markets like Kalshi and stuff like that. But I had forgotten some of the details of that, but that is extensive. 25 of the 32.
That's tough, Rat.
Got subpoenas. Steve Wilkes and a couple of other guys are in that lawsuit as well that has been ongoing, pointing light at the Rooney Rule that, needs modifications.
It does. I think they're acknowledging that as well. All the coaches speak on it too. And the way it's gone rogue with the Rooney Rule is in most situations, I'll say not most, a lot of situations, people have in mind what they want as far as who they want to hire in certain businesses. That could be, at Wells Fargo. That could be at Regions. That could be at a chemical company. At Duke Medical, at Vanderbilt Medical. It could be anywhere where they have an idea of what type of person or who they want to hire. And that's where, in the coaching world, it's very connected. We're learning that often. I got friends of mine that know this person, know that person, or this coach is connected to that coach. You look at how the Titans coaching staff came together. Like, each one knows each other in this world, in this industry. And the same thing goes for front office and management as well. Who they know and what they want their organization to look like. And there's usually the occasional surprise, like, oh, where did this guy come from? I think Sean McVay is one of those surprise hires just in general across the league. Nobody really knew who he was. They knew of him, but he wasn't a part of a group that you absolutely knew in this world, right, as far as the coaching world goes. And that's the case with hiring white and black guys in this league. And the Rooney Rule has kind of caused a spotlight to be put on the passive interviewing of minority coaches.
Absolutely.
And that's where you'll see, like, I had a ex-coach of mine, Harold Goodwin, who got interview requests for certain head coaching jobs in cycles. You had Byron Leftwich, who would get interview requests in certain situations for head coaching jobs, and they knew before going into the building they weren't
going through the motions.
They were going through the motions.
Yeah.
And
checking a box.
Exactly. Yeah. Because of the Rooney Rule. And they're trying to get away from that portion of it as well. And it's just become more and more sticky with how you go about identifying what's a real interview and what's not, because they have to check those boxes.
Well, let me say this, and I brought up the Brian Flores thing to say this because I'm glad you mentioned this, because that's the other thing that's come to light in the owners' meetings in Orlando this week is the renewed focus of the accelerator program.
Yeah.
Coach Mack, Dave McGinnis, was a big part of that behind closed doors, behind the scenes. He was a very big advocate of making sure that guys were ready, interview ready to go impress the ownership and whoever they were going to be in front of. Oh. And if you look at what they've done with this thing, have you seen the names that are on this now in the Excel? Like Mike McDaniel is a part of this now. There's special teams guys, active coaches. Oh. It was former GMs and former coaches. They're going to some active roles in this now. Which is good because those guys can speak up for the coaches who have been in the system for a long time. It's like, no, this guy deserves a really good shot, if they're more active as opposed to management. Well, let's take it a step further. Mike McDaniel can share some of the secrets on how you can wow an interview.
Absolutely.
Because a young cat like him who already had somewhat of a pedigree, he won the interview.
Exactly.
And yeah, they had some moments where they were scoring the you-know-what out of points his first year, and then it kind of went.
It dove.
Now,
Yep.
I know there's a lot to the Tua Tagovailoa part of it, and there's a whole lot more to that, but he can share some of that knowledge.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about right there, is getting guys that understand what they're doing and they're good at their jobs. Because, again, being a dud head coach, man, you kind of really ruin your career with those types of things right there, though, too. When you're bad at it, it's very unforgiving the next time around at it. So, yeah, I'm with you on those younger coaches being in those positions to kind of pay it forward, if you will.
All right, coming up as we continue on Ramon and Will, we will talk about the impact of Super Bowl 64 that will be right here in Nashville, Tennessee at new Nissan Stadium in 2030. There's a lot of touch points to this thing. We'll discuss that next right here on 104.5 The Zone.
When you start noticing cracks in the walls, uneven floors, or driveways sinking and separating, it's more than a home issue. It is a peace of mind issue. That's why who you choose for foundation repair and concrete leveling really matters. And I trust United Structural Systems because they've been doing it the right way since 1994, right here in Tennessee as well. USS doesn't believe in quick fixes or scare tactics at all. They take the time to inspect, explain what's happening, walk you through real proven solutions that are built to last. Whether your home needs foundation stabilization, crawl space repair, or concrete leveling for sinking sidewalks, patios, or driveways, USS uses engineered systems designed for long-term performance, not those temporary patches at all. From the initial inspection to the final repair, USS, they listen, they educate you, and deliver the results that you can trust so you can feel confident in your home is safe today and protected for the future. Hands down. Learn more or schedule your inspection by going to USSTN.com.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Rhett Bryan filling in for Will on assignment today with the biggie over here, Ramon Foster.
Yes, sir.
On a hump day.
On a hump day, man, pushing through.
Justin Hawkins back there with the bump music, man.
That's a nice little song, right?
It is.
Childish Gambino, right?
Childish Gambino.
I wonder if this is an original beat or how many samples are in this one. He's a good artist, so I can see him crafting his own music, but you just never know. I have to go back and look at this.
I think that's some old early Prince.
Is it?
That sounds like an early Prince vibe. I'd have to go check that.
I'll have to look that up, yeah.
So, ladies and gents, if you've been under a rock and you haven't heard, the Super Bowl is coming to Nashville. There is a press conference, as a matter of fact, at West Club section of Nissan Stadium at 9 a.m. this morning. We'll go through how that works, and we will actually air some of that later on in the fourth hour. And I should mention, too, Austin Price of VolQuest.com coming up the next hour of VolQuest.com and On 3 to talk some Vols, especially as we get ready to get into summer practices pretty soon.
This time of the year, guys are on break. I took this time mostly when I was in college to do mini-term to kind of get an expedited process on getting my degree. And also, too, in this world of NIL, they don't have to go for money. So when we went to mini-term, we get an extra like $800 in our scholarship check or whatever, and that helped pay the rent for May and June. So we were going for the cash. These boys got cash, so they just go on vacation now.
Yeah, that's something.
That
is something. So the Super Bowl, that was voted on unanimously, I might add, at the owners' meeting, the spring owners' meetings in Orlando, Florida, for the NFL. 32-0. Like, it was decisive.
Yes.
Now, what is the impact of this? And what does it mean for Nashville? The economic impact is just outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
I read estimates just doing some show prep last night. The Stanley Cup playoff run by the Predators in 2017 was around $50 million impact. Because, people were just packed.
Wow, yeah.
Up and down Broadway.
I saw the images of it.
Oh, yeah, God.
No doubt.
And then your last year in the league.
Yeah, 19.
They hosted the draft. That was around $225 million economic impact.
I worked that draft. Nervous as heck. I knew about the 2017 NHL Cup, race and how everything unfolded down in Nashville then. But being a part of an NFL event, which we're speaking on now, in the Super Bowl, like even the 2019 draft, was insane to me. Here I am. One, you have to be able to find transportation getting into it, but the amount of people, man, that are from everywhere and everybody got a story. It's almost like one of those main events where everybody say I was in the building. Like, I'll believe you if you tell me you were at the 2019 NFL draft in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, there's 600,000 other people there. Yeah.
Everywhere. They make Nashville look like, just a bigger city than it was then. And now Nashville has grown even more since 2019, and it's going to grow more before 2030 as well, because I think there's still hotel requirements that have to be filled as well too.
So the baseline, I think it's 50,000 rooms.
50,000.
And they had that around that time back then. They had gotten to that benchmark or very close to it back in 2019. How about this? It says currently Nashville has 531 hotels in operation with over 61,000 hotel rooms. Now, this is counting not just Davidson County, but the 8-county metro area.
Absolutely.
Because when the Super Bowl comes, people will be renting rooms in Franklin, Murfreesboro, and Lebanon, and everywhere. Yeah.
Yep.
It says, and this is through the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp., by 2030, the greater Nashville market will have projected 658 hotels operating with 80,000 plus hotel rooms. So there'll be more than enough to make this thing happen. Because here's the thing. I bet there'll be 2,000 plus credentialed media that will come for the game or the events because it's like a 10 to 14-day window of things that will happen.
How much of this is going to be what we like to say, like word of mouth, by the understanding of how big 2019 was and how everybody's been asking. I feel like anytime you have a conversation with somebody in the league is when are they going to bring in the draft back to Nashville, just of how big of a spectacle and how well they did. Like, I think anybody that can get here is going to want to be in Nashville because of how big of a party it was. Like, that to me, I think is a difference. I think when you go to LA or Vegas, you understand those situations that you get into. New Orleans to me is a party. I heard Buck Rising yesterday speaking about like New Orleans, they throw a party for the Super Bowl when you're going down to New Orleans, right?
The city footprint is similar too.
Yes, exactly.
That's what they have in common. And of course, New Orleans is a party town anyway.
No, exactly. And I'm thinking that's the case for Nashville. I heard Savage say this yesterday, and I thought it when this officially got announced, like after the Super Bowl, I don't think Nashville will be the same as far as what comes here, the expectation of the city.
That's the market's going to leave in a positive way, the most positive way.
And the cool part is, and you let me know because I was here in 2019. I retired right before the pandemic. Pandemic kind of messed up a lot of stuff. But what I do remember is this: after 2019, we got settled here. That was also whenever the influx of newcomers came to Nashville. We were having those reports of like it's 1,000 people a month or whatever that number was moving into Nashville. I look at this Super Bowl situation that it will expose a lot of people that hadn't been to Nashville or want to be here or who will see Nashville and say, I just want to be around this all the time, not realizing Nashville has its down times and stuff like that. And Chase,
don't say that to the bachelorette parties because there is no down.
They don't end at all.
By the way, you know you're going to see a couple of girls from a bachelorette party the week of the Super Bowl, just like at the draft, like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
We were supposed to have a good time.
No doubt about it.
It just wrecks their dreams.
And they'll be oblivious to what's actually going on. But my point,
people don't follow sports.
No doubt about it.
There are a lot of people who don't follow sports.
And this is a worldwide event. You may end up having a bigger influx of people moving to the city because of this event. It's my point.
So the economic impact.
Yes.
Because here's the thing, and we'll go through this throughout the show. There's a group that former Governor Bill Haslam is a chair of that helps with what the costs are.
Yeah.
But the ROI is unbelievable. But there are costs to this. You know, just like if you're bidding to be a host city for the Olympics, World Cup, and that's the only way this thing is bigger news is if there is a World Cup game that Nashville is hosting, and people would say, but no, it's the damn Super Bowl. It's like World Cup is the world. I'm
literally,
you know, I'm not the biggest soccer person in the world, but I know that's the sport of the world. Absolutely. The sport of North America is football,
no doubt
American football. But I looked at from Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, I saw an estimated $1.29 billion economic impact. That's just counting everything, all of it.
So if you got something, you're going to get something is what you're telling me around that timeline. Because I'm
literally, if you build it, they will come. And that's what Nissan Stadium is.
And that's why this is such a big deal right here. This is why the stadium means so much. And I know a lot of people, you know, with the tax dollars that are spent out and stuff like that, like it's coming back to the city. And the Super Bowl is one of the biggest payoffs of that as well. It's probably, you know, it's a good thing being an enclosed stadium because Buffalo's building theirs. And Buffalo, I don't think is going to host a Super Bowl in the near future because they're an outdoor stadium. They don't have the average of 55 degrees or hotter, and it's not a dome. For a city that's an entertainment city like Nashville is, this is perfect. I think this is going to put them in the rotation for Super Bowls in years to come. I think they're going back to Vegas soon. And it's just how it kind of rolls where they go from Phoenix to New Orleans and Miami often. Nashville, I think, should be in that rotation.
And I think it will.
Yeah.
Because I think all the people involved in this that have been working on this for years, they'll crush it. They will.
But you asked the question, though, too, is Nashville ready? I say yes. I was looking at some of the comments and quotes yesterday, like, I think one of the more advantageous parts about the Super Bowl coming here is the walkability, is the riverfront, is Broadway, is being able to get off of Broadway and go to some of the sidebars and stuff like that as well. You'll be able to just be in the mix, and there will be a lot to get into. I would tell and encourage anybody. I'm doing it in 2026. I'll do it again in 2030. You might want to just go down there and see it. It's worth it. Having played in one, there is no other, I think, in American sports. You mentioned the World Cup. World Cup is fine. I don't think there's
this
a better
is the game
show.
in North America.
No.
And really for the world, too.
Now, and here's the other part, though, too. Everybody has their taste. I have done WrestleMania. It is amazing, too. WrestleMania in New York is phenomenal. Do you hear me? At MetLife, it was amazing. WWE is entertainment. They put on those shows. But I'm here to tell you, if you're a sports fan or just a general sports fan, I don't think there's a better show than what the NFL does with the Super Bowl. And that's why it's a big deal. Every network wants to be a part of it. Every brand wants to be a part of it. It's the one night that you have, as I feel like in American sports, where everybody know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's huge. And all eyes will be on Nashville.
Let's go quickly to the phone, 615-737-1045. Bam, what's up?
Yo, good morning, fellas. Everybody doing all right?
We're good. Good morning, Bam.
Yo, first I wanted to, y'all said that song about Childish Gambino was Prince. That's actually Bootsy Collins. I'd rather be with you.
There you go.
That's it. That's the melody.
That's the that's the first part.
I knew you'd have that.
Yeah. I can't have y'all out here wrong like that, man. Y'all my people, man. I can't have y'all out here wrong.
Appreciate that.
Secondly, man, the Super Bowl that week is going to be life-changer for a lot of people, especially us working musicians.
Yeah.
We're probably going to be working Monday to probably Sunday. And God forbid the Titans are in the Super Bowl and win. Oh, man, it's just going to be that would be the dream.
Yeah.
That would be the dream.
You ain't wrong there.
That's going to change the city. It's going to open up a whole lot of opportunities. It's going to, I think, like y'all said, it's going to change Nashville forever. We may have WrestleMania before the Super Bowl. That's a possibility, because I know they were talking about doing that maybe 2028. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I just think the way the city's growing, Nashville's going to end up being a split between what New Orleans is and what Vegas is, because it's already turning into that. And I'm talking about from experience, like playing down there almost every week. I watched Nashville grow from, being just oh, that's Nashville to, oh, that's Nashville. We got to go to Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's an honor to be a part of something like that. So to be able to host the city, to be able to be a part of an event that, like you said, the 2019 draft party, listen, I played every day. I had to stay down there. That's what I think I'm going to have to probably find a room down there, but it's just going to be like, the prices is going to be ridiculous, but, that's a small fee to pay, for entertainment and stuff like that. So, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the city. I'm excited about the way the team is trending and stuff like that. So it's just a good time to be in the city, man. And of course, we're going to show out, we're going to flex and make it all happen, man.
No doubt, man.
I just had to get y'all together.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it, Bam. Bam, I know I can hear those wheels turning. You're counting them bands already, man.
I can hear.
I like those bands.
Absolutely.
Yes.
and like I told him, I said, hey, if 1045 throws a party, we definitely got to be involved.
There you go.
No doubt. And I just want to know, what do your hands do like that week? Do they become raw from playing so much, Bam, or what? Like legitimately?
No, man. It's literally like it's the same thing as like when you would practice in the NFL. You may be it's you build muscle memory. It's muscle memory.
Okay. Well, you got calluses over the bruises and bumps too, right?
You know what? Honestly, when I was younger, I used to get them like when I was a kid, but being consistent, and then you learn how to use your hands. You learn how to be smarter.
There you go.
With stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't just you play with control. You play with a lot of to make it easier for you, especially when you're doing so much.
Yeah.
Consistently behind it, you know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things where, you work smarter, not harder.
There we go. Appreciate
All
that,
right, man.
Bam.
Appreciate you chiming in.
Yes, sir.
That's good stuff. Bam, he going to be in the mix.
He can play the hell out of the drums, too.
He can, yes. He can. That's why I had to ask him. He's talking about we're going to be playing from Monday to Sunday. I want to tell him, no, the week before is also a set-up party as well.
Yeah, it's literally...
it's 2 weeks.
It's about a 14-day deal.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
10 of it is real intense, and 7 of it is mega intense.
Exactly. The fly-in. That's why also, too, there are other plans in place. That's why B&A is also renovating. The airport is on display as well. Whenever the planes fly in, they spray them with the water hoses and everything, too, as a welcome.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because we're going to discuss that later in the show, because there's a lot of things. There's operationally, logistics, there's a ton of stuff that's going to happen and is already been put in motion, and will they've got a 4-year lead, but time flies, as we both know, right?
Yes, we do.
On the way, more of Ramon and Will. Rhett Bryan filling in for Will Bowling this morning. Your phone calls, 615-737-1045, discussing Super Bowl, discussing Vols later on this morning, and your thoughts as we move along on 1045 The Zone. Ramon and Will rolls on 104.5 The Zone. Live on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. The chat is up and going.
Yeah, we are.
I'm Red Bryan filling in for Will Bowling this morning while Ramon is anchoring down as he normally does as the lead in this show.
Yes,
Let's go back to the phone, 615-737-1045. Go first to Uncle Bob. Good morning, Uncle Bob. How we doing?
Morning, Uncle Bob.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. Always listening. But Red, it was a few years ago that Buck had a bowling thing, and you were there with Coach Mack, and we shared pizza together.
Yeah?
And I don't expect you to remember that.
No, I do. I remember it well.
Well, y'all were so nice to me. You thought we'd gone to high school together or something. And so I'll never forget that. I appreciate that. And hope to catch up, maybe try to catch up with you guys at Ramon at the golf thing, maybe.
Absolutely. Well, I'll be there for sure, Uncle Bob. I'm sure I'll see you. Which car are you driving that day?
Well, I've got now, it's interesting, I've got a Dodge Charger. It's a Daytona. It's electric, EV.
Oh, do you?
It's so fast.
No lag at all, right? It just goes.
Exactly. No hesitation. In Spring Hill, there's a policeman on every corner. And so you got to be careful because it is so quick.
Yeah.
It's got some quirky stuff,
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorites, and I love not having to pump petrol.
I'm with you there, Uncle Bob. I'm there with you,
As they say in the country, that old push water you need.
I bet. I love that. Hey, guys. Love y'all.
All right. Love you too,
Uncle
Uncle Bob. I appreciate you sharing that. That's
No
a way
doubt,
to keep
man.
Mac alive. I love that.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
What's fascinating is Uncle Bob also, I wonder if he still has it, the Porsche. He has a Porsche Targa. It's a drop top. Oh, my gosh. It is a beautiful
How about
vehicle.
him with the dang Charger EV,
And he
though?
going electric. He's a car guy. And
No, he definitely, yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Uncle Bob. He always shows up, man. Really cool individual.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yes, he
Great
is.
guy. Let's go back to the phones here. Brandon, what's up? You're
Morning,
on 104.5
Brandon.
The Zone.
What's up, guys? How are y'all this morning?
Great,
Good,
you?
man. Good morning.
I'm doing good, man. So I know, we just now got into the nuts and crannies of, the Super Bowl and everything, but I had, a really good idea about, the Super Bowl halftime show. I know, it's endless of what they could possibly do, but I think to pull this in, Nashville would be involved heavily, even though it is the Super Bowl, by getting Broadway involved. And by that, putting all the stars that own all the bars into the Super Bowl at their bar and do cut scenes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You would have Blake Shelton, Kid Rock, all the big name Jelly Roll, and then have somebody be the headliner that would be in the Super Bowl. That would be the main headliner and stuff like that. Whoever it would be. Most likely it's probably going to be country just because we're Music City and we're known for country music. But I just thought that would be a really cool idea, and then get the fans and everybody involved because they would be at the bars and everything, and it would also be a promotion for those bars.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I got a feeling they're going to involve themselves all across the board. That's one thing the NFL does do. They touch the community because they know how much they're pulling from the community. So they give back all the time. And if you look at some of the other places they've gone to, I think everybody looks at the LA version of it. And I personally think it would be smart if they did go Nashville-centric. Now, here's the other part, though, too, Brandon. Nashville has a wide array of music genres here in general.
It is Music City.
It is Music City.
Yeah.
It's country. It's blues. It's rap. It is bluegrass. It's whatever you want Nashville to be. It is here as well. It's pop now, too. And I think we all know this, but it's just Nashville, and we don't speak about it. But a lot of people come here to write and record. And that's what Nashville
Or
is.
just live
too.
here.
Or live here, too. So there'll be a lot of people that just will be coming home, right? They won't be visiting at all. This will be home for a lot of folks.
I just wonder, and this is going to spin somebody's head off as they're driving down one of the interstates this morning, but I just wonder if Taylor Swift isn't involved. Because, I mean,
She's yet to do it.
she's yet to do it. This would be the excuse for that.
It would be.
Growing up in Hendersonville.
That's what I was just going to say. I know she was born in PA, but raised here in Hendersonville to chase her music dreams. Yeah.
So, that's the kind of talent we're talking about. I mean, yes, Jelly Roll, yes, Blake Shelton and Jason Aldean, like all Garth Brooks, whoever, whatever. But there's a bigger scope to
your
it.
point, Taylor will bring them up on stage. Taylor's the show, if we're being honest about it.
I mean, yeah. With what her following is and what she's built, that's true.
And you look at her processes, too, that she's gone through. She's officially, if I'm not mistaken, bought back or re-recorded all her old albums, so she owned all her masters now.
She's got enough money to do that.
Yeah, it's some tweaks she made. I think she re-recorded and re-released her old content, and I think now she has full ownership of everything moving forward. I may be a little off on that, but I do know she re-recorded old stuff so that she can get back control.
There are lots of cases where artists do that in all different genres, where they get such a profile and get the money that goes with it to be able to do those things.
No doubt.
So, yeah, absolutely. That's a good idea by Brandon, though. I mean, with everybody, all these artists having these bars on Broadway, I mean, it makes sense to do cutaways and, somebody's playing in stadium and, there's a lot of technicality to that and trying to pull that off. But it's the Super Bowl, and I guarantee you there are people that can.
It's going to be a good time.
It is going to be
It's going to be a good time.
Let's go to Donnie in Smyrna this morning. What's up, Donnie? How are you?
Donnie.
Good morning, guys. Now, we're not going to talk politics, but I want to appeal to Mayor Freddie O'Connell. That space down there where the salvage yard was is a perfect place for a baseball stadium. You cannot deny that the Tennessee Titans have transformed this city. Ever since they've been here, everything's been going up and up and up. And it's all about money. It would be great for the tourists. It would just be wonderful. And I don't see any reason to build anything else other than that right there.
All right, Donnie. Appreciate you calling this morning.
Throw that in.
No doubt. Appreciate that very much. Well, listen, you can make an argument for that. You can. And that piece of property sold in the last few months.
It did.
And it brought record money, I think, in real estate numbers in Davidson County. And that's something we'll talk about later on in the show is, what does the East Bank look like by that point? Because current Nissan Stadium will be gone.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's a plan for all of that space there with housing and mixed-use space and restaurants and, a park. There's a whole vibe to that. And Donnie's point is right. That's probably going to look much different down that way, too, because it's been a scrapyard for a long, long time.
Yes, for so long.
Used to be Steiner Lift when we were kids.
I personally think a baseball team or stadium is going to be outside of Nashville. I think
could very well be. Could be
Murfreesboro. Just because of the space. I mean, there are teams that are the LA or the New York that are in different cities. That's my only point I'm making. Just because it's named Nashville Stars, whatever they call them, Tennessee Stars. They won't
Nashville
have to
Stars,
be
maybe
in Davidson County is what I'm saying. You might mess around and see them in a different
the San Francisco
city.
49ers are not in San Francisco.
I mean, Santa Clara, what is that, the A's? You know what I'm saying? So, it's that part of it, too. So, we'll see.
On the way in hour 2 of Ramon and Will, we will discuss maybe what the Titans are trying to answer as OTAs are rolling through this week as they are forming that football team at Vanderbilt Health Football Center. And then we'll outline who will be speaking and what will be happening with the Super Bowl press conference that's coming up at 9 o'clock this morning at Nissan Stadium. All of that and a chance to win Nashville SC tickets when we continue in hour 2. It's Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
7:04. Good morning, live from the Circuit Sports at Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. It's official. Nashville will host Super Bowl 64 at New Nissan Stadium coming up in 2030. Nashville was voted unanimously at the spring owners meeting in Orlando yesterday as they did not see any opposed votes. The Titans and the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corps will hold a press conference coming up later this morning at Nissan Stadium at 9 o'clock. Another NFL news yesterday, the Minnesota Vikings, they will host the NFL Draft in 2028. It was approved yesterday with U.S. Bank Stadium serving as the hub spot. And the owners also approved the ability to play up to 10 international games per season. In the Eastern Conference Finals of the NBA playoffs last night, Jalen Brunson scored 38 points, and the Knicks rallied from behind 22 points to go on to win 115-104 in overtime over the Cleveland Cavaliers, taking Game 1. And Tennessee baseball, they beat South Carolina in the first round of the SEC baseball tournament 11-6 yesterday. They will move on to play Arkansas this afternoon in the second round at 4:30 on SEC Network. Vanderbilt also won in the first round yesterday, beating Kentucky 8-5, and they'll play Florida today at 1 o'clock. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Break it easy once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour 2 of Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Rhett Bryan filling in for Will Bowling as he is on assignment doing some state track championships up in Knoxville, Tennessee. Ramon Foster, always right here at the side, ready to roll through hour 2 with you. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. The chat is up and running and has been. And Justin Hawkins, we have Nashville SC tickets
we
to give
sure
away, right?
do. It's the last time that you'll be able to get to see the boys in gold until the World Cup break, which they'll be back in July. So this is your chance to get in on the action.
Wow.
Yeah, they do. World Cup coming up here soon, but it's Winning Wednesday on 104.5 The Zone. Nashville SC will host New York City FC this Saturday at Jonas Park. We have your chance to win tickets thanks to Shoney's. Be caller for number 5 right now to win 2 tickets, and you can be there. 615-737-1045. Go ahead. Good luck. Be caller number 5 right now. Let's see that Christmas tree light up. I want to see it. Come on.
There we go.
Come
Let's
on.
go.
Who's the first caller?
To action.
Actually, you don't want to be the
You
first
don't
caller.
want to be first caller.
Yeah,
So maybe everybody's like waiting.
Be caller 5 now, okay, is what we're telling you, because these tickets go quick.
Right.
I've gone Hawks, gone Red. I think you've been in the building for Nashville SC. It is a phenomenal
It is a
time.
time.
How many tickets come with this one?
It is 2 tickets. Thanks to Shoney's, from the fresh food bar to the classic menu items. You can't go wrong. Plus, the new family meals to go is perfect for your get-together with locations in Clarksville, Dixon, Lebanon, and Nashville. Shoney's. Let's eat.
All right.
that boy
Update us on who the
good.
winner is.
I
and
will.
The
I gotta
Christmas
go answer
tree's
some
lit.
calls.
Yeah, here we go.
Wait, do you want to answer some calls while I keep talking?
I don't
No. Yeah,
I don't even know how to operate this phone
Jayhawk
over
did the
there.
live read, man.
You
Let's
see
go.
our guy. That was a flawless read
For
right there, brother
Shoney's.
Hawkins. Dang. Shout out to Shoney's, man.
OTAs rolling now as we are
Good.
getting closer to mandatory minicamp and training camp and all the things that lead up to the 2026 season for the Titans. What are some of the questions the Titans are trying to answer in these organized team activities?
How quickly they can pick up the offense and defense. I think it's there. The install is almost a day-to-day thing because it's all so brand new. This isn't a carryover with either one of these sides of the ball. Only carryover is special teams, right? And there are new components and place kickers and guys in place there as well. And this is a fill-out, I feel like, era for this coaching staff. Coach Bones Foster's got to figure out who are his guys on special teams. Let's start there first. Who are the guys that are position players that won't be starting in those positions? How do you gather those guys? Because that's the one thing this time of the year does allow, Rhett. It allows you to see guys run. And it allows you to see guys' technique. It allows you to be able to say, this guy looked like somebody that's going to help us. Minus the physicality, they have GPS trackers on, I'm sure, because every team in the NFL does it now. What is his speed like? What is his explosion off the line of scrimmage? How does he bend and turn the corner? Coach Bones Foster's going to have a field day. I mean, we know that anyway because of how they explain in minicamp, rookie minicamp, how they just had guys doing stuff. Well, now they're actually doing on-job things.
Yeah, that was freshman orientation.
Yeah.
Now it's time to go to the classroom and take a test.
Exactly. Right? They're identifying the athletes, starting with that group. But offensively and defensively, it is to me, where guys can gain a lot of traction with the coaching staff. How do you separate yourself from the next person in this whole new group of coaches and installer they have? The challenge is going to be, Rhett, how can I take the classroom sessions of us watching tape, watching old film of, I'm guessing, the San Francisco 49ers or the New York Giants offensively, and taking those reps, mentally taking pictures of it, ingesting it, and delivering the goods on the practice field? Because the one thing I tell most people about the NFL is it's not about the talent most of the times. The talent helps get you in the door. Everybody, 1 through 90, including kickers and Morgan Cox, who's a long snapper, the longest tenured guy out there.
Yep.
They have talent. It's a unique skill set. The difference is, and why we watch so much tape, is how much can you process it and execute it on the field? Can you take the information I'm giving you and not be an idiot on the practice field and hurt us and have MEs all the time? All right?
Yeah, MEs.
You've heard the coaches go off. Coaches absolutely hate when players screw up, and especially if they screw up and they're going half speed. Don't screw up. If you screw up, go full speed. Something good might happen down the field, and that, to me, I think is the biggest challenge in what they're trying to find out. Who can pick up this offense the quickest in defense?
And it's counterproductive. That's why they're so mad.
Yeah, it is.
And you're limited in times and opportunities already anyway. Since the 2011 CBA was really rewritten for the most part on the players' end of it. And these coaches know it. Time's precious. I mean, it always has been, but, man, it's even more than ever in the last decade and a half, 2 decades.
Because the NFLPA, they police this type of stuff because, of course, player safety, and also players have negotiated through the CBA to have time off task for you to be off and not have to be at the facility, because you give most coaches an inch, they're going to take a mile every single time. You know what I'm saying? And that's the unique part about where they are. So coaches harp on not replaying, not redoing plays, not being in a position where one player, 2 players mess up the drill. That's why also when you look at players going to the facility, like Cam getting there at 5 o'clock, it's because he can get as much tape he can to prepare himself for the practice field, and the practice field prepares him for the game field on Sundays. Like, it is a unique process to understand how to be a student of the game. That was something that I had to learn, and what I learned from being a film rat, what I learned from studying my playbook, it made me better. Imagine that. Like, studying
what a novel
film.
concept.
But a lot of guys, man, get by on talent. And those are the ones that just fly by under the radar. They get on the team, and then next thing you know, they're out of the league. But coaches are seeking for guys who are film rats that understand everything about what their person next to them is supposed to be doing and what the team concept of each and every moving part is supposed to look like. And that, to me, I think with this group is they got to be intentional. Coach Saleh is. His second time as a head coach. Coach Dable, him being in a position where he's trying to re-solidify himself as a bona fide play caller at the minimum, and potentially at some point in time a head coach. These are the things these guys are stressing themselves on. So I can imagine the press that they're going to have for the team to say, hey, they're trying to beat narratives. They're trying to not only win 3 games. And the pressure of making sure your guys can execute what you know could be successful, that's what they're trying to find out.
Quickly, Justin Hawkins, who was our winner for the Nashville SC tickets?
I do. It's Ryan Scott out of Lebanon, so congratulations to Ryan.
Going to see the boys in gold play at the Castle Saturday night, right?
MLS's best right
there
here.
you go.
There we go.
Congratulations. It's funny, no surprise to me that you mentioned special teams in this, because I had some alum with me talking to the rookies a week ago. And we got to the portion of the program where I was like, okay, Delaney Walker, it's time to have the talk about special teams. And these guys are smart. And they know what this is, but like, we need to bring the point home of this is how you make a roster, stay on a roster, and prove yourself. And of course, his journey is the blueprint of that.
It is. And that's the thing. Like, most players, if you're in NFL, you probably didn't play a lot of special teams in college because you were a starter. You got
big fish in the pond.
Exactly. Yep. But coming to the NFL is a very humbling experience, man. I had older guys tell me, The more you can do, the longer you stay around. And that's where special teams comes into play. I was a right guard on special teams on extra point and field goal for most of my career, okay, because that's how I started off. I know guys who play defensive tackle or reserve guys. They play the tight ends on extra point and field goals. That's how you get on the field, is proving to coaches that you can deliver the simplest of assignments and not be a turnstile or not be a guy that's giving up a block on punt for, a block kick or whatever the case may be. Like, there are linebackers that have to learn how to protect like an offensive lineman in the NFL. And the more you can do that successfully, the more coaches start to trust you.
Avery Williamson was on that panel. He's like,
Remember Avery?
He was like, guys, he said, I was core 4-stage, special team plus started early on because Zach Brown, the starting linebacker, tore his pec and trying to make a tackle on a guy in Kansas City. And he said, I was tired. I was beat, man. He said, but you got to do it. Some of those undrafted or day 3 cats, their eyes kind of lit up when Delaney said, hey, listen, man, I found my way dang near out because they switched positions on me and I was already behind Vernon Davis. He said, man, they paid me $3.5 million way back when to play special teams. The guy's lit up. He's like, wait a minute.
There's money to be made there.
Wait a minute now.
And the core 4 you speak of, punt return, kickoff, and kickoff coverage, or kickoff return too. Yep. Those are the core 4. And if you are one of those guys like Delaney was, a medium skill guy, linebacker, tight end, even some D tackles, or D ends, you're going to play the core 4.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Delaney has the right frame of mind for this. He was like, guys, look at it this way. You are a starter. You start every game. You start every second half.
Yes, you do.
You are a starter.
Yes, you do.
And he said, now take that. And he said, I was the wedge buster. He said, wedge is outlawed now. He said, I was going to go kill a guy on the wedge and just knock him. He said, I'd look at whoever at the sideline like, hey, man, watch this. I'm getting ready to knock him out of his cleats.
What a wild era that was.
Kamikazes, man. Listen, you got to have a special mindset to play that anyway. I mean, Bones Fossil will tell you that. If you're playing at his – and by the way, that's the other part of it for these guys for the Titans. Man, what a great opportunity to play for a coach like Bones Fossil, who is one of the best at his craft in that phase, and just the energy and the infectious attitude and personality he has. Like, you want to be around him. And you got a chance to, if you lean into that with him, he can help make your path sustainable.
As I said, it shows your relentlessness to the coaches. It shows that you know how to do the simplest things before they start asking you to do bigger items on team. The motto of the more you can do, the longer you stay around is absolutely beautiful. And that keeps you on teams. But then it transitions into the more you do, the less you get paid. What my point of it is this. If you have aspirations to being a starter, well, find ways to be really good at special teams so the coaches can trust you at your position.
Earn the
player.
Trust.
Yes.
That's right.
You got to earn the trust to get. And
then there's guys that just do really well at it and have a career. Matthew Slater in New England is like the poster guy for that.
Absolutely. There are those guys. He made Pro Bowls. He's a legend in New England behind those type of tasks. He played nearly 2 decades, man.
That's
what I'm saying. And there's a lot of money. You can be a guy that get a big deal for $20 million or $25 million and only get 13 of it, or you can play 12 years and make $40 million like Slater did. I'm sure it's close to his career. There's a lot of people that make their hay live in that world by being gunners, by being sure tacklers on special teams, and they got one of the best coaches around. I think him and Danny Smith now, who's in Tampa, are two of the 2 best special team coaches around right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Those 2 dudes get it.
When Ramon and Will continue on 104.5 The Zone, we'll outline who's speaking and what maybe we can expect at the Super Bowl press conference that will take place at Nissan Stadium coming up at 9 o'clock. And ask the question, is Nashville ready for a Super Bowl, and will they be? Because they do have a little lead time on this. Your calls and questions at 615-737-1045. All of that on the way on 104.5 The Zone.
We've got a huge announcement from Two Rivers Ford. Just in Two Rivers Ford is now offering employee pricing for everyone. That means you pay what they pay on almost every new Ford on the lot, good people. And at Two Rivers Ford, what you see is always what you get. They don't do things like add expensive accessories or tack on service packages to increase the price of the vehicle at all. No, Two Rivers Ford is upfront and honest every single time. And now they are offering you employee pricing. There's no better time to buy American, and there's no better dealership than Two Rivers Ford. They're locally owned and operated for over 40 years and home of the non-commissioned sales team as well. And now home of employee pricing for everybody. Just head over to the lot and they will hook you up because they're local, they're honest, and real. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Rolling through hour two, Ramon and Will, 1045 The Zone. Rhett Bryant filling in for Will Bowling this morning and tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Biggie?
Absolutely.
Ramon, there is a massive press conference coming up at 9 o'clock in the West Club of Nissan Stadium. That is the official announcement off the heels of the spring meetings in Orlando, Florida, where yesterday they voted 32-0. NFL owners did that Super Bowl 64 in February of 2030 will be in Nashville, Tennessee at new Nissan Stadium. Here's a cut from Commissioner Roger Goodell on the excitement of having the Super Bowl in Nashville for the first time.
Congratulations to Nashville, not just the Titans, but to the entire community of Nashville. I think our history goes back to the draft in 2019, which was a remarkable event for us. Changed the future of the draft, arguably changed the future of the Titans and the community. And I think this is the next great step in a remarkable football journey and a great community in Nashville. We can't wait to be there. To Amy Adams Strode, to her organization, Burke Nihill, everybody in the Titans organization, the Convention and Visitors Bureau that has been such a great partner going all the way back to the draft. This is hard work. You caught the bus, and you deserve to catch the bus. It's going to be an absolutely spectacular event. We can't wait to be in Nashville in 2030. So congratulations to both of you.
Commissioner Roger Goodell there pointing to what was the 2019 NFL draft that really set the stage for this. It put Nashville on the map. 600,000+ people showed up. They threw a party, did it well. And that was the main precursor for this, that you started to think, okay, maybe they can host something like this down the road. Right here is Titans President and CEO Burke Nihill very happy about the Super Bowl being in Nashville.
Well, there have been so many people that have been working so hard on this that this day in many ways has felt inevitable for some time for many of us. But over the last few days, as we were anticipating this vote, I know that I personally stepped back to process how remarkable this moment really is, and how many people have worked so hard, given their life's best work to make this moment possible. And so there's a giant thank you that is owed to certainly Dina and her team. Dina has an army behind her that works really hard on these sorts of things. Our state, our city, people have just supported all the things that go into making this possible, certainly the stadium itself. We have an employee base at the Titans that many of whom have just added this to their plate. They have worked so hard to make this moment a reality, and this is a moment that I hope that they're treasuring as well. Perhaps most of all, though, I want to say thank you to Titans fans. Titans fans welcomed this team to Nashville 30-some years ago at this point, or coming up on 30 years ago, and this is a moment for this organization to just express gratitude for how much our fans have supported us, and I promise you that this organization is working hard to be excellent in everything that we do, and a moment like this, I think, is a representation of the fact that this team is possible of doing really, really big things, and it's on the foundation of the support of our Titans fans. So thank you to them as well.
Titans and President and CEO Burke Nihill there speaking of Dina Ivey. She's the president and CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp. You'll hear both of them speak here about what Nashville's flavor, what will make it different about a Nashville Super Bowl.
It's going to be amazing. I think, we received a similar question in 2018 when Nashville was awarded the 2019 draft, and we asked people to use their imaginations to think about how the draft could be done differently than it had been done before. And I think we're thinking with that same lens. We've got years to think about it this time. And I'm a big fan of the phrase, the light bulb wasn't invented by the continuous improvement of the candle. I think this is not just going to be a better candle of a Super Bowl. I think we're going to try to to make it a light bulb of a Super Bowl and something that's just very different than has been done before, with that Nashville authenticity and the Nashville flair, while also obviously highlighting the NFL and the game itself.
Not only will it be great walkable campus, you can walk to everything, but I think back to the draft, and I was talking about those Music City moments, and one thing that stands out to me is when Tim McGraw was on the stage after the round, and he's singing, and the entire street of all the football fans were singing "Live Like You Were Dying" with him, and it was the most incredible, authentically Nashville moment, and I can't wait to see some of those organic things happen for the Super Bowl.
Let's take two more.
So there's Dina Ivey, president and CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp. She will be a part of several people that will speak at a press conference at Nissan Stadium coming up at 9 o'clock. We'll air some of that in the 9 o'clock hour. At that press conference, Peter O'Reilly, Executive Vice President, Club Business International and League Events for the NFL. Governor Bill Lee will be there. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Dina Ivey, as I mentioned. Burke Nihill, President and CEO of the Titans. Bill Haslam, former Tennessee governor and chairman of the board of Music City Major Events Incorporated, and that is an organization that is charged with where the funds come from to make this happen, because it's a major undertaking in this. And then it is hosted by now Nashvilleian for quite some time, Jim Nantz. The great Jim Nantz will say, hello, friends.
That's good stuff,
and get this thing rolling. That lets you know it's the Super Bowl. It's Jim Nantz hosting. I mean, good grief, man. And think about this. Ramon, I go back to, and I'm reminded, our great friend Randy Wilmore of Farm Bureau Health Plans texted me while we've been talking about this. 30 years ago this summer was the referendum to vote NFL yes.
Yeah.
And it passed 59 to 41% back then to bring the NFL and build a stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. And that was, I'll never forget it. I had on this station when it was Classic Rock, when we had the station van in the parking lot of the courthouse downtown.
Right.
And Oilers tight end Roderick Lewis was there with me doing live hits as we were doing an election coverage of this thing coming in. To see that 30 years ago and now 30 years later, here's this announcement. It's surreal for someone like me and a lot of people in Middle Tennessee that it's like, I never thought this would happen.
And you know what's fascinating about it? Like you saying it and already acknowledging it, it'll be people that see this big spectacle happen and say those things in real time a few years from now. That's the unique part about it, because I'll be honest with you, the idea that the draft was coming to Nashville, I got excited about it. Like, I spent all of my off seasons training here. I was in Brentwood working out the entire time. At that point in time,
you at D1?
Yeah, we were at D1 and then went to Empower as well. Okay. I was working out at Brentwood High and just a multitude of places around this area where me and my trainer were going. And I remember the lead up, like the week of the draft, and how the news and everything was centered around how they were moving, I think it was the cherry blossom trees that were of downtown. Like, the NFL sets itself up to operate in a manner that cities kind of bow down to it. But
yeah, it's basically a takeover, if we're being honest.
No doubt about it. And it's cool being in this way. Hearing Burke Nihill kind of, echo the sentiments of what happened in 2019. And it's like, yeah, that was a candle. We're going to try to invent the light bulb this time around. I like, prepare yourself is what I would say. Like, there's probably going to be a lot of changes around here, but for the good of Nashville. That's why I say I don't think the city's going to be the same in a good way, though.
And Ramon, that's the interesting thing out of those comments from both he and Dina Ivey is what they're charged and challenged with doing that. They pulled it off with the NFL. This is the damn Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is the greatest spectacle in North America that the world has latched on to, with hundreds of millions of viewers. And this is no small town. But you know what the thing is? I have confidence. I think they'll pull it off. I think they will make it uniquely Nashville, because you think about how the draft footprint and the operation of that has changed since 2019.
No doubt.
Every city wants to one up with attendance records and events and those
bigger
things.
stages.
It's like they set the bar, right?
Yes, it is.
And I think they'll be able to do that again. Now, it's amazing the things that you hadn't even thought about. You brought up the B&A, Nashville Airport.
Oh, yeah.
Major expansion and renovation there. Mm-hmm. Think about all of that with all the people coming into town. And how about the smaller air hubs that are adjacent to the airport right there? Because you have 32 NFL private jet owners.
That's just them.
That's just that.
That's just them.
And then people that are the movers, like the most famous people in the world, come to this game, and they have access to those amenities too.
And they want to be around it.
So, I mean, there's stuff the airport's going to have to handle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so think about this. Stadium, and this is another sidebar topic we can talk about later in the show as we are rolling through this. If we don't have an enclosed roof stadium, is this even in the conversation? I think the answer is no.
No, absolutely
because it
not.
hadn't been up to this point.
And the weather in January, February gets really cold here. It's less. I mean,
you can get lucky and have a warm spell, but yes.
But usually that's when we hit our cold spell.
So stadium, new Nissan Stadium, check. Weather plan because of said stadium, check. Practice facilities, you'll have 2 of those for teams.
Yeah.
And I think there's a good enough mix between college stuff and high school stuff to accommodate weeks practices for both teams.
If you go from around Nashville, you can go up to Mount Juliet. You can go West Nashville. You can go anywhere around it and find somewhere to practice.
There's some great high school practice facilities.
It has to be within 20 minutes of the facility. Of the stadium, if I'm not mistaken, as well. It's like a 20-minute drive. Yes,
I think that's right. Then you're talking all of the broadcast capabilities, Radio Row, all of that. I mean, they've got a place and a footprint for those things. Hotels and rooms to rent. We've discussed that earlier. Mm-hmm. They're at around 60,000 rooms, 61,000 rooms now. By 2030, it'll be over 80,000 rooms in the 8-county metro area. The biggest question, and by the way, here's the other one. This is considered an NSSE event, which is a National Special Security event because it is the Super Bowl. So you're requiring not just crowd control from local fire and police, state agencies are involved, and federal agencies certainly. You're talking Secret Service, FBI, all of these things.
Think about it. New Orleans had that situation before the Super Bowl a few years back when they got ran through a barricade. Remember that one? This is why you're bringing that part of it up, too.
And you're going, so local, state, and federal law enforcement and agencies, counterterrorism, emergency preparedness, cybersecurity planning.
Very much so.
So, I mean, there's that. And then the event footprint beyond the game, that's already ready-made. Like, when you think about the draft, there'll be an expansion of that. In fact, the one thing I noticed in some of these releases, we talked about the hotel rooms and what they'll be at by 2030. Nissan Stadium ranks 3rd in the NFL in venues behind New Orleans and Las Vegas, with the most hotel rooms within a 1-mile radius, more than 13,000 rooms across 61 hotels. Stadium also benefits from being a short walk from the city's entertainment district, which is correct and completely correct in that. Because and there's other stuff opening up, like Dolly Parton's Storyteller Hotel is going to open up before too long that will add to that number. There's a lot of stuff that I'm sure there's been a team of people that have been working countless hours in years prior and in the years to come before this thing happens.
No doubt about it, man. And it's only going to get better and it's going to grow even more, too. It's cool, too, hearing Roger Goodell, one of the more, I guess, noticeable sports figures, I guess, as far as management across the United States. I will say, with NFL being so big, he's probably the most powerful one when it comes down to moving the needle. Yeah.
Yes.
Like moving the needle on that one. And I think it's a little tip of the cap on how he kind of phrases, like, you chased the bus and you finally caught the bus, Nashville. That isn't just for getting the Super Bowl. I think that's for the city. Like, you go back, I remember being here, playing football here like 07. We come in town and stuff like that. 06, 07, and like Nashville, you could just drive in it. It was nothing to it. The Batman building was the biggest thing, I think, in the city. And now you got a Four Seasons that rivals that. Like, we're talking about like worldwide labeled hotels. Like him saying that the Titans caught the bus and now you have the ability to ride on it with everybody else is a tip of Nashville. It's a tip of the cap to Tennessee. And just the development that this place has had. And I know, of course, the conversation is going to be Nashville needs to be affordable to the residents that live in Davidson County and stuff like that as well. I'm hoping this helps assist some of those needs with the money that will be coming in to help people around Nashville be able to live in Nashville.
Correct.
The natives.
Who have lived in Nashville, who have been here before all of this started.
No doubt about it. And that's the hope for, I guess, once all the show leaves Nashville is what will the people who live here be left with? And I'm hoping that's what happens as far as the change goes, because it can get pricey doing this type of stuff. But the change was going to happen. Nashville is developing a way I don't think most people envision it. I see the random nostalgia videos that come up on social media that'll show Nashville driving into it around 2004. It's night and day. You don't even notice this city. It was a big town is what it was now, and now Nashville is a big city. And considered by most to be that.
It absolutely is. Nashville's been called many things over the years. The Athens of the South. That's why the Parthenon's down the street.
Yeah.
It's been Music City for forever. And it, for a while, was called the It City, and now it's a super city.
It is.
It's a super city. That's hard for old heads like me to wrap my mind around. It's like, this is actually going to happen.
Did you imagine? I mean, if you also think about it, I know we're up against the break, but if you also think about it, you enlighten me. How much of a push was it, did Memphis want to hold on to the Titans? Because I know there was a big conversation about the back and forth between Memphis and Nashville and the conversation around the Titans and the fact that Nashville grabbed on to this franchise and made it their own. I mean, what a decision. Look at it now. It's grown this industry in Nashville, the economics of it, vastly more than almost any other city around the state.
And hindsight being 2020, like Memphis, I don't know that it was ever going to work there because it never was properly supported there. Okay. And there's, this from being from West Tennessee. There's a big brother, little brother syndrome between Nashville and Memphis, and always has been.
Always has been.
I have family lives in Memphis.
I'm from West Tennessee, so yeah, I know the conversation. I hear it to this day. But it's funny, a lot of them live here, which is kind of crazy. A lot of people from my hometown live in Nashville as well, though, too, just to show you where it was, because in the early 2000s, I will say this, though, too, around 2004, Memphis was, I think, the most popular city in the state. And, of course, getting a hockey team, getting an NFL team changes a lot of that industry.
Mm-hmm. On the way, let's discuss the NFL. We've talked about the greatest game that's coming to Nashville in 2030 and Super Bowl 64. Let's discuss some other things that came out of the owners' meetings this week in Orlando. And this one is about the expansion of the game of the National Football League around the globe. Some interesting numbers and discussion next on Ramon and Will here on 104.5 The Zone.
If you're looking for TRT that's flexible enough for your lifestyle, head to LXIV Center, the #1 name in TRT. You can choose testosterone pills, shots, or different options for you, too. You can also pay with your insurance or out of pocket and even have your treatment shipped directly to your door. And now, LXIV Center is offering new peptides, new treatments, and so much more, where it can boost your energy, your libido, and confidence for the results that you can feel. Synergex and LXIV Center have provided testosterone replacement therapy and hormone replacement therapy tailored to your body, your lifestyle, and most importantly, your budget. When your hormones are imbalanced, patients feel fatigued, they have low drive, mood changes, and also body changes as well. Balancing your hormones means living a better, healthier life. And testosterone is not just for men either. Testosterone is important for women. It can help boost their energy, confidence, and drive, and so much more. And no, it will not turn you into a man at all. Listen to me. To book your free testosterone test, you can head over to fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Back to wrap up hour 2 of Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Rhett Bryant filling in for Will Bowling, who is calling the Tennessee State Track Championships up in Knoxville over the next couple of days. Ramon Foster, always present and ready. Let's go back to the phone, 615-737-1045. G in Nashville, what's up?
What's up, G?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, man. Good morning. Hopefully your morning's going well like ours is today.
It's going to rain, so I don't know.
Is it already?
It's not here in Nashville yet, not where we are.
Not yet, G.
I'm in Springfield. But I was going to say that this is really going to benefit the Titans hosting the Super Bowl because they're going to be able to maybe lock in some free agents that may have not known what Nashville's like or anything like that. And, it's a lot of exposure. So, I think that could help with free agency and all types of things. I don't know if I'm reaching there or not, but, just let me know.
No doubt. That's I think that's a great thought by you. I appreciate the call. For those who have not been to Nashville, it could help and benefit. Because think about this. There's all kinds of alumni events that the league has. They have, golf tournaments and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And guys that aren't even involved in the game, but they're a player in the league. And G, our caller there, I think is right on the money that it could make a guy go, you know what? Nashville might be a good. And now here's the other part of it. The trajectory of the Titans, does it line up with 2030? If Cam Ward, there's a lot of answers that we need there to a lot of questions. But if Cam Ward is building year over year and things are going in the right direction, that's another part of this.
That's what I was going to say. And G, great point as far as the exposure to guys that hadn't been to Nashville and partied in Nashville. Here's the thing. They visit when they play. A matter of getting free agents, in my mindset, is it should be used in a way, Rhett, to get you over the hump, to make you be a team that is in a real Super Bowl race at that point, where you can strategically pick in free agency. It shouldn't be, in my personal opinion, your foundation of every year, we're going to, make it look good so we can go get the biggest free agents. No, I think the way Mike Borgonzi is going to operate, looking at the way Kansas City has in years past, they're going to try to retain as many of their own guys. Because getting your own guys means that you have a culture in place. You've been good and you've done well as far as drafting and everything else goes as well. Now, if it comes down to a premier edge rusher or something like that, if Abdul Carter is hitting the free agency market in 4 years, okay, there's a conversation to be had. But I got a feeling Abdul Carter, if he is a hot commodity, is going to still be a New York Giant.
He'll be under contract.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the only point. The exposure of it, I think more than anything, G, you're going to have billionaires and millionaires flying in on private jets. Man, I didn't know Nashville had this. They'll be here as far as free agency goes, as far as buying a house here. But I wouldn't bank on that being the main thing, Rick, going into it.
No, but I think what G is trying to bring across to this, and I think he's right on this event for about 2 weeks is an infomercial for Nashville, Tennessee, and the state of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
It is, no doubt about it.
On the grandest stage.
No doubt about it.
Let's talk about some events around the greatest stage. So the NFL owners meeting's been taking place this week in Orlando. We know that 32-0, they voted unanimously to make Super Bowl 64 in 2030 right here in Nashville at New Nissan Stadium. The other event that they voted on is in 2028. The Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota will be the host. Minneapolis will be of the 2028 NFL Draft. It'll be in Washington next year. One of the other things that was interesting that they voted on, Ramon, is the game internationally. So international the regular schedule and the international schedule has now been released. There's a record 9 international games in 2026. They voted yesterday, Ramon, to expand that number to the maximum allowed under the current CBA of 10 international games in 2027 and going forward. And with a caveat, Commissioner Roger Goodell has been on record this week as saying they'd like to consider 16 international games eventually with an eye on Asia and Japan.
Send me to Japan, Red. I want to go see it, especially if I can be on the NFL dollar. No, for real. It just shows you what the vision is. I don't when we speak about making the NFL worldwide, the question I have is, how long did it take soccer to get to that point? Because that's football. No. Soccer and basketball are worldwide sports. This is the way you kind of see it. Hockey's regional, sort of like American football. Like, if you got it, cool, and you can watch it if you like it, but it's not in every single country around.
It's in a lot of countries, though.
It is.
Very, more so in Europe.
But, like, with basketball and soccer, like, you just put a ball on a court or in the hoop, and you can have accessibility to do it. Like, football requires equipment, a body type, style, coaching, and stuff like that.
Hockey's very intense.
And hockey is also very equipment-based, too.
A lot.
And a lot of ice time. Not every place got ice. My point of it is this with the NFL. The vision of being able to have, I guess, little pockets of American football in every single country that they can possibly have, I think is huge. I'm not sure if it's going to get as big worldwide as what soccer is, the way the FIFA is, right? The World Cup. That's a different conversation. But if football can gain that notoriety of a worldwide sport as far as being able to have a piece of it, if you go to Japan, if you go play in Australia, which they're doing this year, London, they've explored that time and time again, South America. I mean, all across. And they've attempted this before, but I don't think the NFL has steamrolled it the way they have right now, because they have played, if I'm not mistaken, Tokyo once before.
Yeah, I want to say in the Egg Dome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but like now it
back
feels
in the early '90s. I want to say the Cowboys when the triplets and all of them when they were winning world championships. I think they had a preseason game there or something.
I personally, we can talk about it a little bit more. I like the growth.
It's good for the league.
Okay,
it really is. And clearly there's a want and a need and a supply and demand for it internationally, because these games are selling out in record time, like minutes. I mean, in Germany, they are just rabid for it, crazy for it. And, they had a game in Madrid, Spain, and, I mean, they've done it. They're having one in Australia. Mm-hmm. The footprint's growing.
I saw, real quick, I know we're about to go to break, but I saw a person recently, like there's a Germany football league, like American football league over there, and these guys are very serious about it. I actually spent some time on their page and watched them. Like, they're undersized, and you see, like, there's a, tick slower as far as how they play, but they are serious about how they go out and compete week in and week out from just my little scroll.
Physicality.
Yeah, no doubt.
Might not have the 40 time, but they're going to hit you.
No doubt about it.
On the way, it's halftime right now of Ramon and Will. Hour 3 on the way. We will talk to Austin Price of VolQuest.com and On 3 coming up at 8:20. Your phone calls, questions, thoughts about the Super Bowl, thoughts about the Titans and OTAs, whatever you got on your mind, 615-737-1045. Ramon and Will continues next on 1045 The Zone.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law, and that ain't got no rules.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it, no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. Cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ms. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Right, and from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running downstairs anymore.
Not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
.803, good morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. It's official. Nashville will host Super Bowl 64 New Nissan Stadium in 2030. Nashville was voted unanimously 32-0, as they did not see any opposed votes at the spring owners meeting in Orlando yesterday. The Titans and the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp will hold a press conference coming up later this morning, next hour at Nissan Stadium at 9 a.m. Tennessee baseball yesterday beat South Carolina in the first round of the SEC tournament in Hoover, Alabama, 11-6, as they will now move on to play Arkansas this afternoon in the second round at 4:30 on SEC Network. Vanderbilt also won in the first round yesterday, beating Kentucky 8-5. They'll move on to play Florida today at 1 o'clock. Eastern Conference Finals, the NBA playoffs last night. Jalen Brunson scored 38 points, and the Knicks rallied from behind 22 points to beat the Cavaliers in overtime, 115-104. They take Game 1. Tonight, Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals tips off between the Spurs and Thunder at 7:30. Spurs lead the series 1-0. And in the NHL playoffs, the Western Conference Finals get started tonight as the Golden Knights take on the Avalanche at 7 o'clock on ESPN in Denver. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Third quarter, hour 3, Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Follow along, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. That chat is open and going, and people are chatting as they normally do. I am not Will Bowling. I'm Rhett Bryan, Titans Radio, filling in for Will with the biggie over there, Ramon Foster, 11-year NFL vet, Vol for life, and radio extraordinaire. I got to thinking about this. You know, we've been talking about Super Bowl announcement all morning long, obviously, because it's a major, major story, and we're less than an hour away from a press conference at Nissan Stadium with a lot of dignitaries and NFL people to discuss more about that event in 4 years. Courtesy of the Tennessean, Hadley Hitson put this piece out today, and we were talking about, is Nashville ready to host the Super Bowl? So, per this article, billions of dollars in Middle Tennessee infrastructure projects are set to come online over the next 4 years, positioning the region to successfully host the Super Bowl. Those include roadway renovations, pedestrian-friendly greenways, shopping districts, even more hotels. Big changes are coming to the Nashville International Airport, the East Bank, new hotels, tourism destinations across Davidson County. And it says $10.25 billion in infrastructure investments scheduled to be completed or significantly progressed in Nashville before the 2030 Super Bowl is set to take place. So projects that total around $10.25 billion by 2030. Nashville International Airport's $3 billion New Horizon expansion, including a central core renovation, more efficient roadways, 2 new concourses set for completion in 2029. Obviously, new Nissan Stadium will be done before then. $300 million in new East Bank infrastructure around Nissan Stadium, including lowering James Robertson Parkway. Lowering it?
Wow.
Renovating the John Segenthaler pedestrian bridge and building a new waterfront park beginning in 2026 with no set completion date. Now, I don't mean like a water park, like a park along the waterfront.
Absolutely.
Not an attraction.
Well, that's disappointing.
Might have a fountain.
Let me say this.
I was hoping for a nice splash pad or a wave pool.
Well, let me say this. I let the wind out of your sails, but I'm going to put them back in your sails.
All right, let's go.
Did you know Nate Bargatze, the world famous comedian who's from Old Hickory, Tennessee, is proposing, like, there are renderings that have come out today for Nateland.
Nateland?
Yeah, he misses Opryland like all us kids from the 70s and 80s.
Well, he is the breadwinner, so.
He is the breadwinner. Very well done by you.
I feel like that was a joke that I don't know just yet.
He has a major motion picture of that title.
Oh, the breadwinners with Diego Pavi in it. Yeah, okay, all right.
Jared Curtis.
Jared Curtis in it, yeah.
Jared Curtis in it, too?
Yeah, but Nateland, he wants to have Nateland theme park. And there have been renderings released today, I believe, and I think they're scouting locations for its construction. How about that?
Out of here. Congratulations to him. That's
pretty wild.
Major.
That's
right
pretty cool.
there. It just shows that it means never grow up.
Well,
that's all it is.
I'm going to tell you what else it means.
Never grow up.
Old heads like a lot of us over here, this side of the road talking, we miss Opryland. Should have never gone away.
Yeah.
Like the people at that boardroom says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to tear down a theme park and we're going to build a mall.
That's tough.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Now,
how'd that work out for you?
Man, that's cool on Nate, man, to have his own theme park. Golly, what a childhood dream that would be.
Absolutely. So continuing in these improvements, $10.25 billion of infrastructure and projects prior to the Super Bowl 64 in 2030. Mayor Freddie O'Connell's $3.1 billion 15-year transit project will be underway with sidewalk and traffic signal updates and expanded bus system. Bridgestone Arena's Broadway 2030 renovation, $750 million expansion, adding 175,000 square feet in the arena. And that is underway now. That construction phase has started.
Doesn't it supposed to get a rooftop as well?
I believe that's correct.
Part of it,
Yeah. I think the question is does the radio tower spire in the front corner still exist or not? Because in the renderings I saw, I don't know if I saw that in there or not.
Is it necessary?
Nearly. It was a radio thing, like a tip of the cap to WSM, and the Grand Ole Opry and those things. Nearly 15,000 new Nashville hotel rooms coming by then. So in trying to answer the question, is Nashville ready? They may not be right now, but it sounds like they're going to do their due diligence to be ready. I think the biggest question of any of it is the traffic and the infrastructure, because traffic is, and I mentioned this on the show Monday when you were out to Will. I'm like, let's just make a pact, Davidson County and everybody that works in Nashville and Davidson County. If you can, that week and a half, remote into work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who have that option now, post-COVID, post-pandemic.
Yeah.
I feel like that will help. But that's a lot of people that will converge on Nashville, Tennessee.
To your point, I just can't see us getting a transit system in place right before the Super Bowl.
There's not enough. No, listen, we're talking about major infrastructure with subways or trains or whatever from outlying suburbs of Nashville.
Yeah.
Those are things that take decades.
It is.
In phases. And honestly, if we're being real honest here, because I don't know that anybody could have projected the growth that what is Nashville and Middle Tennessee now,
not like this
30 years ago. But you needed to have conversations and started doing something about it 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You really should have.
Yeah.
Because this stuff just doesn't pop up.
It doesn't.
4 years is not near enough. I'm sure they'll do as much as they can to, in fact, there was a quote in there from somebody from TDOT, I think it was, that some of these plans that they'd had on the shelf for a couple of years are getting dusted off now. And it's like, okay, we need to probably do some stuff.
Wow. I know, like, I drive north of the city going to Hendersonville, and there's already a project going on right now around that Conference Drive area where they've kind of expanded the interstate up towards that way, right off the Rivergate exit, right before you get to 386. They're expanding that right now. And that's to your point about how long this stuff takes. That was started, I think, last year, 2 years ago, and it's supposed to be done in 2027. So there's no conversation to be had about getting the transit system, the underground travel that they've spoken about as well. Like, this is, to your point, ride share is going to have to be huge that week.
It is.
And trying to find ways where maybe there is an off-site parking lot somewhere and you bus in. Like that, those are going to be the efficient ways on how.
And that's what they explained there was, an expanded busing option in this. Listen, I don't know how you are. Like, I love to drive. We love cars. We share that passion.
Yes, we do.
But I'm going to tell you right now, living outside of Nashville, I would love to be able to drive my car to a near depot, get on a train. I'm talking about if we're talking about the options are early to late, like huge window of transit, I do it every day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like if I could park off, let's just go exit 95 before getting into the city right here, close to Madison, and be able to be bussed in. Yeah, you do that because that saves you gas. That cuts down traffic if you absolutely utilize it, and it's just more efficient in my mind as far as the ability to get where you want to, not just dealing with the gridlock, right?
The pie in the sky thought, too, like, what if you had a train to hop? Like, you talk about cutting time getting in. You don't have any stops except people getting on and off at the stations.
Let me ask you this.
That's it.
We're in the South, right? We are car drivers. How long would it take to normalize a train station ride for people to make it okay? Because I feel like, I'll speak for myself, I love this idea in the conversation, but I would probably still want to drive. Where are you at with the idea of it being seamless?
When going to work, not going to have fun and play, I would do it every day.
Okay.
I would do it every day because wear and tear and maintenance it saves on your vehicle.
That's true.
Gas, all that. I guarantee you, what it would cost you for an annual ticket or however you would do that would be way less than what it would be on your vehicle.
I agree with you there. It's just, in my mind, I'm like you said.
And I'm coming up I-24, so I'm like, I'm
24.
Man, to zip by all that and see that parking lot sitting there, I'd be like, hate it for you. Not really.
Not really. No doubt.
Hey, let's go back to the phones here. Derek wants to talk about the Super Bowl. Hello, you're on with Ramon and Will.
Derek
is not there.
What you do to him, huh?
Well, I had to ask about 6 times or so what his name was because these phones I could not understand him. So It's a possibility that it's not the right name, but I'm pretty sure it is after like the 6th time. Oh, wait. I think he's coming back.
He's Derek now, isn't it?
And there's
we
his
picked up
neighbor's
Derek,
calling.
and then we picked up Eric. No, I'm just kidding.
Look comedic relief.
I think, when you're talking about this, that's the number one question. I think the other part of it, the execution of it, obviously the building that it's going to be in and the footprint, they'll have all that worked out. The traffic is the main thing.
And
when you're just outside looking in.
It is, and to your point about the traffic, people will at almost every Super Bowl come out and just watch it. I expect a courtyard with a big TV outside as well to watch it. You mentioned the water park, and I'm guessing they have a fountain type of deal outside of it as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be super cool.
And all the things leading up to it. Like there'll be, there'll be concerts and events. Like there'll be something every day and night. In fact, I should mention that before we go to break. Well, I've been mentioning all morning that, we're less than an hour away. Top of the hour, 9 o'clock, is a press conference at Nissan Stadium with a lot of the dignitaries speaking about Super Bowl 64 in 2030 in new Nissan Stadium. Also, the Nashville Visitors and Convention and Visitors Corporation is announcing, too, that there will be a Super Bowl community celebration tonight at Riverfront Park down at the Court of Flags right there by Acme Supply and all that at 7:30. There's a stage down there and everything like they would have for the fireworks show. There's a drone show. There's some fireworks. And then there is a concert. Marty Smith from ESPN is going to host this thing. Six Wire, the band that is from Nashville, will perform. So, they're doing it right with, kicking off the celebration.
Didn't ESPN take over Acme the last time for the Super Bowl? I mean, for the draft as well. I think ESPN took over Acme.
Could be.
The building, because it was right by the stage.
That would have made sense because it's right there.
It was right by the stage. Sure was where the setup was.
But there's a concert tonight and press conference coming in less than 45 minutes now. What we're going to do is pause for just a moment, and when we pick back up, we will discuss some Vols with Austin Price of VolQuest.com and On3 as summer practice for the Vols football team is rolling on, about to be happening here in just a few short days. We'll get his thoughts on the Big Orange when we continue on Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. That's Austin's music. Austin. Ramon and Will. Hour 3. 104.5 The Zone. I am not Will Bowling. Rhett Bryan filling in for Will with Ramon Foster. And the Austin we speak of is Austin Price of VolQuest.com and On3. Good morning, sir. How are we?
I'm doing great, guys. I got my youngest here. She graduated 5th grade yesterday, and we are headed off to my 7th graders awards day. So, it's exciting times.
End of the school year. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Want to talk to you as we get towards, get a little closer to Tennessee football getting back on the practice field. Who outside of the quarterbacks has the most to prove this offseason as we approach that?
That's a great question, Rhett. I think the receiver spot that was vacated by Chris Brazel, who's off to the NFL, I think both Travis Smith and Rodarius Jackson have something to prove. I feel like the tight ends, Deshaun Brame and Ethan Davis, have something to prove. And defensively, I think for me, it's just the whole defensive staff. They're new. They got a game plan. Obviously they feel good about where they're at in the transition and in the install, but I think they have something to prove overall as a defensive unit. After last year, did not perform the way they wanted to. Some new faces, both in the coaching staff and in the roster. And I think it's a motivated group to prove that, they're not going to be the weak link on this football team.
You guys wrote in the War Room about Ethan Utley developing this offseason. Where do you think we will see the biggest difference in him?
The question is how tough can Ethan get? He plays for Rodney Gardner. Rodney, he lays on those kids in practice, right? He is very stern. And Ethan's mom grew up around Rodney Gardner. She knows what G is, and she knows how he coaches. And the same thing goes for, Ethan. Ethan's been around it now for a year, and I think the question is the toughness. I think he's definitely changed his body. He looks awesome. He's got an immense talent. I think it's being able to push through, play more consistent. If Ethan does those things, I think the sky's the limit for that kid. I really do. I think ultimately it's just about pushing through and the tough times, because there are going to be tough days. It's sports. Not every day's a great day. And you got to be able to push through those tough times. And I think if Ethan can do that, then I think, he's got a real chance to, really surge this year.
No doubt about it, Austin. I saw him about a month or so ago, and he just, to you guys' point, he looks different. And talking to him as well, I got to give it to him. He sounds motivated and understands what he's up against in my small conversations with him. So I'm glad to kind of hear that about Ethan, man, and watching his high school career. On the recruiting side of things, there's another kid I watched grow up a little bit, man. Slim Level at Good Pasture, man, picked Tennessee. What made the difference for the Vols on this battle, man, as he ended up ending his recruiting a couple of days ago?
I'm sorry, Rhett. Was there somebody talking the last couple of minutes? I'm not sure who that was.
Wow. Man. Austin bringing the heat this morning.
He started off by saying he had an awesome day with his daughter, 5th grade graduation, had his 7th grade day and everything, and now he don't even know.
Hey, Avery's not happy about your betrayal either. Listen.
Wow.
To answer your question, Ramon, I think for Slim, playing in state mattered to him. I think Tennessee, from an NIL rev share standpoint, was able to come to terms with him to the point where I think that, it didn't really matter what others were offering. He was good with what Tennessee was doing, and he wanted to be at Tennessee. And I think it's as simple as that. I think he really liked Tennessee. I think he liked the coaching staff. I think the more he got up here around the defensive staff, the more he really gravitated towards them. And even though Clemson and Florida and Florida State and some others came calling, I think Tennessee had kind of always been trending for him for the last little bit, and it stayed that way.
No doubt about it. Well, in-state as well, Jarrell Chandler ended up picking Clemson, and Miles Brown picked Kentucky. How significant are those losses for being in-state for Tennessee in general?
Sure, you never want to lose players that are really quality players in the state. Both guys are really quality players. Now, Tennessee's also trying to, get to the point where they're not paying a ton of money. They're not overspending for players that aren't going to play right away, or they're not sure are going to play right away. And so that's kind of where those two recruitments went. Tennessee pushed hard for both to a certain point, and then once Clemson and Miami came for Jarrell Chandler, it kind of shifted. There was a moment there where he was still going to stay in state, and then Clemson came hard again, and at that point he went off to Clemson. And then with Miles, same thing. I mean, you know, with both, I take commitment interviews with both. Now, that tells you where they were at one point in time, right? But when you start having the money talk and one school is willing to go way above another and the other's just not going to get into that bidding war for, again, a kid that, you know, they really, really like, but they're not sure is going to help them right away. They've had too much money standing on the sidelines the last several years because they went a certain path with the rev share NIL stuff. They're trying to get to the point where they want to go and spend it on players that are going to play instant impact. If you're going to have a bunch of money tied up, it needs to be tied up in guys who are on the field. And that's where they're trying to get. Now, inevitably, you're going to spend some money on some players that aren't going to play right away, but they're trying to eliminate that as best as they can. And so with both those kids, they felt like they made them fair offers. The other schools just kind of went above it, and those families and those kids made the decision that they felt was best for them, and that's kind of where it went. So, again, they'd love to have had them, but you end on good terms. I'm not sure Miles throwing the hat yesterday was the smartest move. I always advocate for kids when I talk to them, don't embarrass the home state school. Don't do anything that's going to put you in a bind in case you ever want to come back. You know, Christian Gass a few years ago, he's like, hey, what do you think about this? And I said, I think that's dumb. Don't throw the Georgia hat. Don't even have that on the table. Just pick Tennessee and quietly move on. I would have told Miles the same thing yesterday. Just pick Kentucky and quietly move on. Like, you know, you never know. You may want to come back or whatever. There's no point to do that, right? So, but he's a kid. We all make mistakes, okay? I make them every day. So, you know, he'll learn from that, and it'll be okay in the long term. But, yeah, at the end of the day, Tennessee would love to have had both, but in both instances, they just weren't going to get into a bidding war for either player.
Austin, it's fascinating you mentioned that having that much money on the sideline, the NFL kind of has that with rookie quarterbacks. Start them early, play them early. Is that going to end up being a model that college ball uses because of the money being spent like that? If you're being paid, you're going to play early, even if you're not really ready?
Well, sure. I mean, like, let's look at David Sanders last year.
Yep.
I mean, had a lot of money tied up in David Sanders. If it was functionally close, David Sanders was going to get pushed to the field. Now, no coach is going to go, you know, that kid's nowhere close to being ready. Just throw him out there. We got a bunch of money in him. No, but if it's close, young guy, veteran, and you get a bunch of money tied up with the young guy, you're pushing the young guy to the field. And so, like, again, a year from now, whether it's Tennessee or Ohio State or whoever else lands David Gabriel George's, the kid's talent, the kid's investment from the school that lands him is probably going to push that kid to play a lot. Now, is he going to start? I don't know. That depends on, you know, whoever he picks and their backfield situation. But I can promise you, he ain't going to stand over there. He's going to be playing, even if it's as the number 2 back, and getting significant carries. So, yes, I think ultimately you're going to see more of that for the high-end, top-tier guys. And, again, that's why if you're Tennessee or others, you know, you have to decide, hey, where do I want to invest my money and go that route. And in these instances, Tennessee really liked those players, liked them a lot, did not like them enough to go crazy amount of money if they did not feel like they were going to play right away.
Austin Price of VolQuest.com joining us here on Ramon and Will. Austin, recruiting weekend starts here in a couple, 3 days up in Knoxville. What's the biggest priority and maybe the most important battle that Tennessee will try to win with that weekend coming up?
Well, I think for a lot of the players that are coming in that aren't on official visits, Tennessee's got a handful of official visits coming in town. You know, for those players that aren't on officials, it's about showing yourself, them having a really comfortable, relaxed time, and gearing them up for their official visit in the next few weeks. It could be June 5th, it could be June 19th, it could be June 12th. But most of these players, when you get them here for A65 Live, you're in turn going to get them back here in a couple weeks. So you're going to get them on campus twice in, let's say, a 3 to 5 week period. That's big. That's why the A65 Live event was created, or like in other schools, because schools are trying to get players to their campus as much as they can right here before these late June, early July decisions. And so that's kind of where things are. Tennessee's, trying to make a big move with a guy like Antoine Jackson, kid out of West Tennessee, down in the Memphis area, Collierville. That they're obviously, trying to be heavy players for some of these guys that are in for OVs, like a Carter Jones, offensive lineman from the state of Virginia, who has ties to Tennessee. All that stuff, will play. And then Slim Lavelle will be here on his official visit this weekend, which means he comes in newly committed, which means he should be pretty active in the recruiting space, trying to convince some of these players to join him in Knoxville.
Austin, how solid is Tennessee quarterback commit Derek Baker as other schools start to show some interest there?
I thought a long time that this one would be really tough down the stretch. I still think it's going to get tough. Tennessee got in there early. He didn't really play a lot of football up until the last little bit, and more schools are going to come hard on him. He seems right now as firm as one can be, but you still feel like other schools are going to work to try to get him to campus in the month of June for OVs. So, again, you want players that other teams want. That means you're recruiting the right kind of player. Tennessee pinpointed him. I mean, I'm telling you, leaving the summer, like June, July, they're like, that's going to be our guy. That's what we're going to really push hard for. And then he kind of got derailed by an injury early in the high school football season. Then he came back enough, showed enough flashes. Joey Halsey was down there. They everything they saw when he camped here last summer checked out, and they continued to push on until he got in the boat. Again, I know other schools aren't going to stop, but he says all the right things as of now.
No doubt. Also, on the baseball front, man, how can they help themselves the rest of the week in Hoover, man? Great showing yesterday by a bad fielding South Carolina team, though, but they took advantage of it and won, man. What else can they do down in Hoover that can help their case?
They're going to have Evan Blanco on the bump today against Arkansas. And if you can win this one, then you get a day off. And so we'll see. Ramon, we'll see. They took care of business against South Carolina. Today would, to me, be a bonus if you win this one. If not, you just get back and you get ready to head off to whatever regional you're going to. Obviously, if Tennessee could win enough down there, they might could play themselves into a hosting situation like they did a year ago. But it's just kind of taking it one game at a time. We'll see if they can win today. If they win today, then they have a 2-day break or a day break, and then I would say you'd see Tegan Coons at that point. Either way, I think this is a Tennessee baseball team that offensively started to figure it out. Pitching-wise, is still super thin, but their best guys are really good. So they just can't get in the loser's bracket of a regional. That's set up for failure for Tennessee. They don't have that kind of depth as a pitching staff. They've got to find a way to win those first two games in the regional, whether they're somehow can host by winning a bunch of games in Hoover, which, again, this kind of tournament doesn't set up well for a pitching staff that's, again, not super deep. So, for my liking, if you can win today, lose Friday, and get on out of there and get back and get healthy and try to play yourself in the best regional possible, I think that would be big.
No doubt. Last one, man. But how shocked would you be to see Reese Chapman play in the SEC tournament after taking a line drive to the face in practice on Monday?
Pretty shocked.
Okay.
They've obviously not established when he would return or be eligible to return, but I don't think it behooves him to play in this at all. Get the swelling down, get back, get healthy for regional if you can, and go that route.
No doubt.
That is the ever excellent Austin Price of allquest.com at On3. Thanks for joining us this morning. Enjoyed time with your kiddos, and we'll talk to you down the road.
No doubt. Appreciate it.
Hey, Rhett, Ramon, Avery's got one thing here for you.
Okay.
I'm disappointed.
Wow.
I see you raise them right, Austin.
Yeah,
I see you raise them right, Austin.
All right, Austin Price. Have a good day. Appreciate you.
See you guys.
See you.
Bringing the heat, man.
You know the kids hit me in the fields.
Of course.
The kids. Oh, my gosh. Avery, shout out to you this morning. Congratulations on fifth grade graduation and all. Look at Austin with a little in the weeds right there. He always got some breaking news, right?
Yeah, that's right. He always does. Those guys at VolQuest do a great job.
Amazing group.
They really
do, man, for sure.
On the way, wrapping up hour 3, we'll take your calls about Nashville being a super city now that Super Bowl 64 in 2030 will be at new Nissan Stadium. That and much more before we go into hour 4 of Ramon and Will on your home for the Titans and the Vols, 1045 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls, where they're available to you 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Same-day appointments are available for you or next day guaranteed. Anything from primary health, urgent care, IV therapy, medical weight loss is available to you. And here's the thing. These are not just regular techs. No, these are doctors and nurses that are sent to you to help you be a better version of yourself. If you're feeling fatigue, persistent illness that's been going on, or injury, or difficulty focusing or being productive, there's an IV therapy for you. If you have or feel yourself having a sickness fall over you like I did a couple of months ago, I reached out to them. They came over to my house, administered me an IV, and I felt amazing the very next day. I beat the cold before the cold beat me. But it's not just that part of it, the IV therapy. They have medical care that can come to you and handle your sicknesses, infections. If you have an injury, they can help you that way. In-home labs, testing, and so much more for you is available to you. And again, it's just bringing back the concierge to medicine to where they can just simply help you out. You can reach out to them by calling at 615-838-2375 or head over to medicalhousecalls.com.
Wrapping up hour 3 of Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Rhett Bryan filling in for old Will Bowling this morning with Ramon Foster. And again, if you have been under a rock, the Super Bowl is coming to Nashville, Tennessee, and more specifically in 2030, Super Bowl 64 at new Nissan Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some people patiently waiting for a while on the phones to discuss that. Let's go to those phones, 615-737-1045. Princess in Nashville. Hello, Princess.
Morning, Princess.
Good morning, gentlemen. Ramon, you're going to do a great job at the commencement address next year. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
So the Super Bowl, I'm excited that it's coming, but my concern is it's going to expose Nashville's biggest Achilles heel, and that is traffic. If you look at any major city, if you will, in quotation marks, one of the components of those cities is public transportation, mass transportation. Being able to land at an airport, hop on a train and get downtown or get to the hotel, that is crucial. Drop your bag, then you walk. Sidewalks and red lights are not going to solve this problem with the amount of people that will be here for the Super Bowl. It's going to be awful. Uber, rideshare is the solution to that. That's not the solution when you have 500,000 people descending on the city for a week and a half or 2 weeks. Hotels is not the issue. It is the lack of mass transit. And one final point on this, it costs $50 to park downtown Nashville right now. On a typical Friday night, you have friends come to town and you want to go downtown, you're going to pay $50 just to park. So can you imagine what those parking rates are going to be the 2 weeks, leading up to the Super Bowl? It's going to be outrageous. So the people who are able to even anyway, you guys get it.
Real quick, Princess, will you try to attend it though? I'm just asking in general. Even with, I think a lot of Nashvillians will share your sentiment on the parking and travel and logistics of trying to get to an event. Will you participate?
Yeah. I think I'm going to do the Augusta rule, right? I think I'm going to be one of those people who say, here, enjoy the city for a few days, and I'll be back when you're done. Okay. I'll watch it on television and have a great time.
With no line to the food, no line to the restroom, none of that, right? No headaches.
And not sitting in traffic for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine people trying to get from Hendersonville to the stadium. It's going to be a mess. We're not prepared. We're not prepared.
Princess, I appreciate you calling this morning. You bring up a valid point. Thank you. You too.
It's going to run on all the local news outlets for sure.
Well, I want to come back to her if we come to our next caller. Because she brings up an excellent point that I hadn't really thought about, and I want to discuss that briefly. Let's go back to the phones. Andy in Clarksville wants to speak about Super Bowl 64 in Nashville. What's up, Andy?
Yeah, I would echo Princess's thoughts because my commute takes me right by Nissan Stadium, which I'm sitting in traffic right by it right now on my way to work from Clarksville. But, one of the things that, it's going to be a party, even if you don't go to the game. There are going to be so many events. There's going to be big events, but I think it's going to be the thousands of little events that will be the really cool thing that locals can enjoy. Back with the draft, my brother-in-law runs a cigar shop in East Nashville, and they were the official fan gathering place for the Raiders fans. And I'm sure there are going to be 32 businesses in town who will have similar things at the Super Bowl, where if you're fans of a particular team, you get to meet other Dolphins fans and Commanders fans and Cowboys fans, even though you don't ever want to really meet Cowboys fans. But it'll be a fun time, I think, here in town.
No doubt about it.
Great call, Andy. Appreciate you sharing this morning.
Be safe in traffic, most definitely.
Yes.
That's the route I take, too. I fully understand where you're coming from, Andy.
He's right, though, because you think about how many different restaurants and bars around the area that have a banner out front that the official watch party location for X team. And it can be college or pro, but really pro more than anything.
No doubt about it, man. I think it's going to be a solid showing from the city. I think if you go into the situation knowing that traffic is going to be that way, LA was that way, just in general. Like the genesis of all of this, I think, is if you can get downtown early, get here. And that's why so many to your point, before we get back to Princess's point, there are going to be so many activities from sun up to sundown that's going to allow you to want to just be and stay down here.
Sample a part of the festivity.
Yeah, rideshare part of it. Hopefully there's rules and laws in place to where they can't gouge you on transportation in and out. I know this is a capitalist society. If money's to be made, you're going to be able to make it. And people that have private drivers and just Uber and Lyft and all in between, they're going to make money. That's a part of the drive of getting
supply and demand.
It is.
That's it.
I don't think it's necessarily price gouging. I think it's just the surcharge of what the event is. Because if you go to a Saturday night concert or a Nashville Predators game or Nashville SC game, there's a higher charge on those Ubers and Lyfts and such just because of the more demand. So they're going to have a much higher charge. Instead of having a $20 ride, you're going to have a $30 to $40 ride. So for the Super Bowl, it's just going to be even worse because everybody wants to come into Nashville, and they're going to take advantage of it because they can, and that's just the way that kind of corporation works.
From a government standpoint, then, how do you satisfy the natives, then, if that's the case, so that this doesn't happen? Do there need to be lobbyists now?
Have like generalized parking, and you can walk.
Well, here's the thing, guys, and this is what I was thinking about. Princess and Mark, both our last two callers, brought up a couple of things that made me think about something. 4 years is not enough time to establish full running, like major mass transit in a place where it's never really had it, right?
Right.
So here's the question. Does this event push the envelope and push the people enough in the electoral process and just, municipality thinking here? Does this push in the direction of we have to have mass transit? And because of the Super Bowl, we will have mass transit like other cities post Super Bowl.
You know the best way to get something done? Embarrassment or lose. There's no better self-check than either losing or being embarrassed.
And let's go with this old adage that I like too, is necessity is the mother of invention.
For sure.
It will be necessary that this, to have a major event like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. As much as the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp talk about being prepared, listen, they did a fantastic job with the draft.
Absolutely.
The fireworks every 4th of July is one of the biggest in the country consistently.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things they can do. But this is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is above all of those things. Like I said earlier on the show, I think the only way this thing is bigger is if it's a World Cup matches that are happening.
To your point, BNA, the airport, I think they have the hardest task. There will be people flying in from everywhere.
It's funneled through them.
Did you see, I think it was the last Super Bowl, the amount of flights that came in right before and when they were leaving out, like all stacked up in a line on the tarmac to get out, on top of the commercial flights that have to get out as well, because
people just traveling for business or whatever, sure.
The private sector of the airport also merges with the BNA as well.
With that footprint of traffic that the air controllers have to navigate. Between the private jets for celebrities or team owners and that with all of the people coming to the event.
And not to even mention or imagine, who's to say, world leaders won't come in for
it? Listen.
And that stops everything.
Anyone who's anyone comes to this game. So those possibilities are endless, limitless. Whether it's the President of the United States, whether it's governors, whoever, rock stars, rappers, whoever. It's a who's who.
It is.
You realize the Super Bowl is the spectacle it is when you see, they're there at the game. They're also there at the game.
Good problems.
Yeah.
Good problems.
First world problems.
First world
for sure.
problems on this one.
All right, when we continue, there's about to be a press conference at Nissan Stadium. We will bring some of that to you in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll continue to discuss the impact of the Super Bowl 64 in 2030 at new Nissan Stadium when we start the fourth and final hour of Ramon and Will here on 104.5 The Zone.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
9:03, good morning, live from the Circuit Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Nashville hosting Super Bowl 64 at New Nissan Stadium in 2030. Nashville was voted unanimously by all the owners at the spring meeting in Orlando yesterday. The Titans and the Nashville Convention Visitors Corporation will hold a press conference coming up later at 9 o'clock, which is actually right now. And Tennessee baseball, they beat South Carolina yesterday in the first round of the SEC tournament, 11-6, and they move on to play Arkansas this afternoon in the second round at 4:30 on the SEC network. Vanderbilt also won the first round, beating Kentucky 8-5 yesterday. They will play Florida coming up at 1 o'clock today. Eastern Conference Finals, the NBA playoffs last night. Jalen Brunson scored 38 points to lead the Knicks as they rallied from behind 22 points to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 115-104 in overtime, and they take Game 1 tonight. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals takes place between the Spurs and Thunder. The Spurs lead 1-0 tonight. First tip is at 7:30. And the Western Conference Finals, the NHL playoffs, they start tonight as the Golden Knights take on the Colorado Avalanche at 7 o'clock on ESPN in Denver. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hold up 4 fingers. It's the fourth quarter. Ramon and Will. 104.5 The Zone. Rhett Bryan filling in for Will Bowling this morning. Ramon Foster right here ready to roll into the final hour. The biggie, 11-year NFL vet, VFL. As Nashville has had many nicknames. The Athens of the South, thus hence the Parthenon down the street. It's always been Music City pretty much. It was the It City for quite a while recently. It's now a super city as a press conference is getting underway at Nissan Stadium to discuss Super Bowl 64 in February of 2030 coming to new Nissan Stadium. And to outline who will be at this thing, because it tells you, this will tell you it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Jim Nantz is emceeing the doggone thing.
That's pretty sweet.
He will be joined by Peter O'Reilly, the Executive Vice President, Club Business and International and League Events for the NFL, Governor Bill Lee, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell, Dina Ivey, the President and CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp., President and CEO of the Tennessee Titans, Burke Nihill, and Bill Haslam, the former governor, who is the chairman of the board of Music City Major Events Incorporated. And to kind of explain what that is, I've got some information on this. This is interesting. So Music City Major Events, Inc., as I mentioned, chaired by former Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam, prioritized the Super Bowl as a major global event to recruit to the city, and they will help secure the required funds for hosting, because it is going to cost to host this.
Absolutely.
Now, the return on investment with the economic impact is in the billions almost.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, $1.29 billion is what a figure I saw estimated from Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Not that long ago. So there's that. That is taking place right now. Later tonight, you can be a part of the celebration. There is a Super Bowl community celebration down at the Court of Flags, as they call it, right down at First Avenue and Riverfront at Riverfront Park.
Gotcha.
There's this major stage set up there right now like they had for the NFL draft or like they have for the 4th of July celebrations. The MC is Marty Smith of ESPN. Wow. And the band Six Wire, which is from Nashville, will perform. There'll be special guests and appearances. There'll be some fireworks, and there'll be a drone show involved in this. So that's an example of what we can kind of expect in the 10 to 14-day window in 2030 when the Super Bowl comes to Nashville. There will be something like this day and night all over the place that will take place. And the one thing, Ramon, that I want to kind of follow up something you mentioned about you hope the impact once the Super Bowl is gone is lasting in the community. I think you'll see a lot of community outreach from the league as having Nashville as the host city. There'll be lots of events where NFL alumni, superstars from other teams will maybe go to food banks and go to, Habitat for Humanity, a lot of things like that you normally would see. that will have an impact going forward.
No doubt about it. And again, Nashville will hopefully change for the best on this one. And it just makes you one of those cities. And what's fascinating about it to me, for the natives that have lived here and just made Nashville their home and watch it grow, like we're watching it feel like warp speed, Rhett, of the changes that Nashville has had. Okay, you get an NFL team. All right, that was fine for a few years. And now, as many skyscrapers have gone up and even old places, Red, that have kind of been demolished and new places have been built on it. Like I remember leaving Demumbrian or right off Broadway, the Toyota dealership was once a parking lot right there. Now there's a building being a skyscraper that's being erected right here in the middle of the city. You go up and down Broadway, but like I guess the payoff from the Super Bowl is, one, as we said before, when Princess called in talking about the traffic side of it. If the Super Bowl coming here and the buildup of it and the reception of it also helps bring more funds here, put bigger eyes, more eyes on Nashville to help growth so that you can get better transit or better ability to get in and around the city, that's what this event will do for you. The draft was cool. I think it was a nice teaser, nice tester for what Nashville's capable of on a party level, right? On a, hey, we can officially get it done here in Nashville. This, as you said, and that was written up in the article, this is a world event. For one night, all eyes is on one game, and that one city that will be dropped time and time again is Nashville, Tennessee. That's huge for the people that live here. And I don't think you can look at that situation and say, oh, this is just a one-timer, and, hey, I'm just ready to get it over with. No, this is something that can be a mainstay in the city for a while and just help, hopefully, economically satisfy a lot of people that aren't involved in the Super Bowl, too, because that's the payoff, too, is monies will be put into this community you hope is used for the right, and hopefully that starts with transit.
I go back to it. We had a caller earlier this morning. G was the caller, and he talked about would it potentially bring more free agent acquisitions in the future to Nashville for maybe players that hadn't been to Nashville, hadn't played the Titans at Nissan Stadium. I think that's possible. I mean, that's hard to put a finite number or a predictor on that.
Right.
But the one thing I do get out of his conversation with us, and that I echo what you're saying, is it is an infomercial for Middle Tennessee and for Nashville, Tennessee, for the whole world to see. So there will be a lasting impact it's already a huge tourism place as it is. How it became the second largest or most popular bachelorette weekend behind Vegas. I don't know how that happened, but that became a thing. But there will be more people come visit Nashville that saw it on television and go, I've never been there. I want to try that.
I want to go see it.
Or they went to the Super Bowl and said, I got to go back.
No doubt about it, too. And to G's point, though, too, I lightly dismiss it because I'm like, you don't want to live in a world of free agency satisfying your team needs. Like, you want to have a strong team and complement it here or there. And usually the hot free agents don't really, the good free agents, the franchise leading ones, usually don't hit the market common.
Still under contract.
Like, it's kind of hard to get Tom Brady from the New England Patriots. It's like Peyton hit it later in his career, but that was older Peyton at the time. Peyton Manning, that is.
Let's give an example currently.
Yeah.
Dan Moore, the left tackle of the Tennessee Titans.
Yes.
He was the best option available in that free agent market in 2025.
There you go.
That didn't mean he was the best left tackle available because those were under contract.
No doubt about it.
That's your point.
That's my point. And for perspective, another situation that's Titans based, when it boiled down to getting a guy like L'Jarius Sneed, you had to trade for him. There's capital given up. You had to give up a part of your team, not just money and funds, to go get a guy who was one of the best in his position at the time. I know the conversations differ a little bit now, but at the time, those are the two differences that you're speaking of right there. Guys that hit the market that are good enough to be taken, okay, fine. The team probably has a replacement behind them. But the ones that you really want, the coveted ones, the Max Crosbys, right? Those guys have to be traded away in free agency, which that fell apart for Baltimore.
And what you want, to your point, what you want in free agency, and hopefully that it is tracking in this window of time as the Super Bowl comes to Nashville in 4 years. Hopefully the Titans are tracking in competitive nature and wins and losses. That the attraction is, it's not just Nashville. It's like, I've chased the bag before.
Right.
I want the hardware.
No doubt about it.
I want a Lombardi trophy.
You want
I want a chance to compete, contend, and win.
No doubt about it.
That's what you really want.
It is. I think of a guy like that, like Chris Long with Philly. You know, at the time, or he was good, and then you go find a pass rusher like him that can get you over the hump, or at least builds depth for you, for a team that's searching for those sticky Lombardis. Man, that's the goal in general. But here's the other pro tip. All of the guys that you want in free agency, they come and party here regardless. These guys are in Nashville. There are so many guys on different teams that come and visit Nashville and just kick it on Broadway and just do stuff as well. This is a destination city for people that want to get away and be normal up and down the Strip and have a good time. They're here already.
Because people mostly leave them alone.
Exactly. And they live here as well. A lot of these guys do.
Well, you're right, because we're coming up on this summer another tight end university.
Yes.
And, you know, here's George Kittle that lives here in his spare time.
Yes.
I think T.J. Hawkinson lives here now.
He does.
So, and there may be some others we don't even know about by osmosis of coming to that in the summer and going, you know what? I see why y'all live here. This is great. The weather's pretty dang good.
State income tax.
No state income tax is a big one. And the people are pretty friendly and mostly leave you alone.
They do. And that's what that is also, to me, I think, what allowed people to enjoy the draft too, because I'm sure the personalities were out. I got in and I got out. Okay, I worked the red carpet and I was gone. But for the personalities that do want to get out and see the people, you can. And Nashville has just like a little. It has a creed about itself. Like, you just leave people alone and do your thing. You see them, you take a picture and continue keep it moving.
Nashville is not a sleepy little town anymore.
Hadn't
been for quite a while. You mentioned earlier this morning talking about you coming in here to play in, 06, 07, somewhere.
Yeah, and Nash playing against Vanderbilt.
Yeah. That's right. And what the skyline was like. The Batman building. There were really 4 buildings for a long time that were synonymous with the skyline of Nashville. And that was one of them as the newest of the 4 I'm going to mention. The others is the LNC Tower, the Life and Casualty Tower, the American General Insurance Building, which is now a state building over where TPAC is currently. That was one because it was big.
It was.
And then the other one was the Music City Sheraton that had the circle at the top, that had the restaurant that revolved. Those are the 4 things you could usually, anybody did a sky shot of early Titans games on prime time with an aerial view. You would see those things. Nashville skyline's completely different.
Way different now. I like the look of it too. It looked like everybody is building something here is going with the blue glass look. I actually like that look for Nashville. It's pretty cool to me.
So we've had lots of questions and calls and discussion about this. And, you know, the last segment of last hour was about the traffic of this. And I think a lot of people, that's going to be the contention of this and the point of this. And the more I think about it, I think this will force, for lack of a better term, people to implement and get a plan together. It's going to be a lot of money.
It is.
It's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a delayed gratification kind of thing, but you have serious growing pains.
No doubt about it. And as I say, I actually like that for the city. If it, I hope it's not catastrophic with how traffic's going to be, but I do hope it forces government officials to want to make the highways better, wider, and just a centralized transit system that can get people in and out. Because Hendersonville is going, Springfield, Robertson County is growing. Murfreesboro has grown. And 24 both ways going to those cities is a nightmare. It's okay to say that right now, but it's also...
Well, it's because it's facts.
It's
true.
A fact, yeah.
And in all fairness to the Tennessee Department of Transportation and the municipalities, there are ongoing road construction and resurfacing projects going on as we speak. It's not just a snap of your fingers, instant gratification type of thing. You're not doing this in a microwave. You're doing it on grandma's old stove that takes a while to heat up. I mean, it's serious because companies have to put in bids for those things. It's millions of dollars.
Engineers.
It's stretches of highway, not an entire highway. And there's completion dates and things and sometimes unforeseeable things that put delays behind those. There's a lot of moving parts for the moving traffic on those surfaces.
No doubt.
All right, when we return, we hope to have a little bit of the press conference going on at Nissan Stadium discussing Super Bowl 64 coming in 2030 to new Nissan Stadium. We'll do that, and we'll take Rick's phone call when we come back. He wants to talk about the NBA and its effect on Nashville potentially. We'll get to that and much more as we are continuing through Hour 4 of Ramon and Will here on 104.5 The Zone. Hour 4 rolls on. Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone. Red Brian filling in for one Will Bowling. Ramon Foster right here across the desk from me. Let's go back to the phones real quick. Rick in Nashville wants to talk about the NBA and its impact on Nashville as it pertains to maybe the Super Bowl 64. What's up, Rick? How we doing?
Hey, not too bad. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
My question is, since the Super Bowl is coming to Nashville, and I know it's a talk about the Grizzlies moving to Nashville. Now, since we have all these infrastructures going up and everything, do you think it's going to be a possibility that we're going to be able to get Memphis down here as well? That's my question. Now, hang up and listen.
Appreciate you, Rick. Thank you. Well, for some folks, them are fighting words.
Yeah, they are.
Because we've often discussed some animosity between both cities. It would be interesting. And, listen, I think the answer to your question, Rick, is we're going to find out, can Nashville handle a Super Bowl? And I think you'll have your answer then.
No doubt. And to your point about it, though, too, Rhett, like that conversation's grown louder. It's become a constant one, I feel like. I know this. Memphis leadership and their folks who are in power there are trying to hold on as much as they possibly can. But when you have the NBA commissioner speak about it, you got more NBA players bringing it up as well. How accepting will Nashville be of the Grizzlies if they're still named that? And how will they, I guess, accept Memphis losing a pro team? That's going to hurt their economy.
It was very contentious 30 years ago, nearly 30 years ago, when the Oilers pulled up stakes and when they realized it was not going to be a thing, that it was always going to be Nashville. There was, and I think that's one of the reasons why maybe it wasn't supported as well in Memphis early on. But there was some animosity there. There were some hurt feelings there. Because here's the thing about Memphis. They thought they were going to get one of the expansion teams in Jacksonville or Carolina back then. And I think they were on a pretty short list, but it just never, for whatever reason, came to fruition. And then, they had the USFL there at one time. And, they've had some things there. The big thing that might be a catalyst in that is what we mentioned in all these improvements that are being made prior to the Super Bowl, one of which that has already started is the major construction and expansion of Bridgestone Arena. Yeah, that'll be done in, I think, 2029. So, that's a part of the conversation because you're already housing a hockey team there, and there are plenty of cities that have multiple big sports, indoor sports, where they have a scheduling thing where it's a hockey team one night, the basketball another, and, all those kinds of things. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And the only reason I say that is because the Super Bowl's coming to Nashville.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you mentioned that being 2029, the incompletion of the renovation of Bridgestone. Boy, they could just pile all that into one big old move right there if they choose to do it. But I will say this, as a West Tennessean myself, I'm very sympathetic to the idea that Memphis losing them can hurt the economy. It means less attractions and events for the folks of Memphis to enjoy. Everybody here loves the Titans being in Nashville because on Sundays you can go do something. With hockey, you can go to a hockey game 2-3 times a week if the schedule allows it. The same with Nashville SC. It gives the community something to hold their allegiance to and to be prideful in as well. And I remember when the Grizzlies came to Memphis and what it meant to the city and how crazy Memphis was and how everybody became a fan as well. And to rip that away from them that would be a bad thing, I think. But with that being said, a lot of change. The same, we're speaking about streets and roads and highways and infrastructure in Nashville. Memphis also has to push forward with their ability to change the narrative around the city and the accommodations and NBA teams as well. Like, that matters.
It does.
I'll say this too. A lot of people don't love going to Green Bay to play football. They don't.
If you're not a cold weather person, and the only people that are the people that live there.
Yeah, and like the hotels surrounding, like we didn't stay in the best hotel in Green Bay.
No, but here's the thing: Green Bay is smaller than the size of Murfreesboro.
No doubt, but
populous.
It's got history.
Oh,
that's the difference right there, though. Too is they got history and they've won Lombardies. Memphis hadn't won a world championship to hold on to, and they moved from Vancouver to Memphis and maybe Memphis and Nashville.
Yeah. Speaking of world championships, there has been a press conference ongoing at Nissan Stadium to discuss the world title game of the NFL, the Super Bowl 64, 2030 at new Nissan Stadium. Let's listen in on the start of this press conference with the great Jim Nantz.
What a glorious day this is for our state and all Nashvillians. Let's hear it. It's a massively important day in the history of our great city. Yeah, I was anxious to get this thing started as we begin the countdown to February of 2030. It's almost impossible to quantify just how big this moment is. And what happened yesterday to have the NFL vote us in and welcome Nashville as one of the rare cities in America to ever host the big game. In the pantheon of American sport, just to give you a little example, it doesn't get any bigger. If you actually took a Game 7 of the World Series, moved it here, a Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the College Football National Championship, the Final Four, and you branched off, and the last night you brought the Democratic National Convention, and then you brought the Republican National Convention, and you put them all in our new stadium. That total audience reach would not even come close to equaling the number of people that will watch our Super Bowl. Think about that for a moment. So, it is the big game, and we are a city that knows how to host big events. We are, among many things, we're in the entertainment business. And I don't have a doubt that we're going to entertain the people that travel to our city and our state to the greatest experience they've ever had at a big event. That's what we do. And now we get to show them. We get to show them better than anybody ever has before. I appreciate Monica mentioning I broadcast 7 Super Bowls. I've seen Super Bowl cities, been there many times the years that CBS didn't have the big game, and there are some great ones out there. And I know I've got a little hometown bias on this. We're going to do it better than anyone of all time. All time. And we're not doing it once. We're going to be so good. The league's going to want to come back here. There's not a doubt in my mind. And you know what? I've talked to enough people around the NFL. I think they know it too. So we're ready to get this thing started. It's so cool to think of the visionaries. There's so many people in this room and on this riser that have their fingerprints on this occasion. Mayor and Governor Bredesen, he had that vision going way back to help coordinate with the Adams family to bring them here. And he said there was nothing that is not well within our grasp in Nashville, not even hosting a Super Bowl. How prescient was that all those years ago? He saw it, and here we are, starting today. Here we are. So, I feel very fortunate to have chosen to move here and plant roots for my family 5 years ago. I have to say it's probably the best move I ever made in my life, was moving to Tennessee. Today is a validation for a lot of people that had a chance to go anywhere in this country. They saw there was something sizzling here. They saw there was a kindness, a community that cared, that everybody could come in and work together as one. We are anchored and rooted in our music foundation. I can't wait for the league to come in here on this biggest showcase event. We take these incredible artists who are part of our community, who make us proud, and deliver what I believe will be the greatest halftime show that America's ever seen in any format from any sport. Just leaning on our Nashvillians. One of whom, by the way, is right here, who performed at a Super Bowl. I had the pleasure of introducing him when he sang the national anthem down in Tampa years ago. The great and legendary Eric Church is here. So Eric, thank you, man. He's been a part of this outreach. Behind the scenes, that stories people won't even know. The handshaking and goodwill put into the messaging that we wanted to deliver, that this was the place to bring the NFL's biggest game. Eric, thank you for your contributions to that. I think we showed everybody, there was a statement for us when we had that draft held down on Broadway. And 600,000 people showed up. A sea of people. I actually think that cannot be minimized, that as a trigger point to show people what we're all about. It's a game changer for us. Now we go to the next step. Yesterday in Orlando, the 32 NFL owners gathered. I hear there was nothing but a unanimous support for this idea for Nashville to land this game. We're really honored to have from the league the NFL's Executive Vice President, Peter O'Reilly, to officially launch the Super Bowl here in our city. Peter, thanks for being with us. Come on up here.
Thank you, Jim. It's an honor to have you here. It's an honor for you to be a co-chair of the Super Bowl. Calling 7 Super Bowls is a big deal, and to have someone with your experience at the center of this and making sure this is so special for Nashville, that's a big deal, so thank you. On behalf of the NFL, Commissioner Goodell, it's an honor to be here. We could not be more excited, and I can officially confirm what Jim just said, that the NFL owners unanimously supported yesterday and voted to bring Super Bowl 64 in 2030 here to the city of Nashville, Tennessee. I was very fortunate to be part of the team that helped bring that 2019 NFL draft here to Nashville, working clearly with the Titans, with Dina and her predecessor, Butch Spiriton. That event, and it's often said, as Jim said, was a game changer for Nashville, and I believe that's right, and many here can attest to that. In my seat and wearing my hat, I can say that 2019 NFL draft was a game changer for the draft. That was a game changer for the National Football League. That sea of humanity that Jim described, that energy, that special sauce that came to life for the world to see in 2019 made a major impact. I will tell one story that Dina and some others do know, that there was a sliding doors moment that may have gone a different direction on that Thursday night in Nashville in 2019. As some of you may recall, there was some rain in the area and a thunderstorm around us, and we had maybe 200,000 people on Lower Broadway. We had a theater full of people, a green room full of prospects. Taylor Swift was here. It was going to be great. But we were looking at a thunderstorm barreling down on Nashville, and we were thinking, we're going to have to evacuate this whole place, and okay, we're ready for this, but let's go. And that storm came, and then it did this. It went right around Nashville, and we had an incredible Thursday night, we had an incredible Friday, an incredible Saturday, and the bar was reset for the NFL draft. There's some magic in this city. There was some magic on display that night that allowed that to happen. We may not be here today. Maybe we would be, but if we had evacuated, we then went into COVID, we did a draft in the commissioner's basement, we might not have had the audacity to come back out and grow and build the draft into what it was a few weeks ago in Pittsburgh with now 800,000 people across 3 days. That moment was big, And as I look ahead to 2030, I do think, as Jim and others will say, Super Bowl 64 will be another game changer for Nashville, Tennessee. I also believe in my heart, having worked with this team and so many of you, Super Bowl 64 in 2030 is going to be a game changer for the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 64 in 2030 is going to be a game changer for the NFL. And our ask is come together in the way that this community can come together. Challenge us with the special ideas, the new ideas. Every Super Bowl is different. This has the opportunity to layer in so many unique elements to, again, raise that bar. And I know it will. And not just for the 60,000 people plus who will be in new Nissan Stadium and part of that incredible Super Bowl environment, but for the hundreds and thousands of people across this community, the millions of people across this community who want to embrace and connect with Super Bowl, the hundreds of thousands of people who will come to Nashville. And as Jim described with his incredible analogy there, or the math on this, the hundreds of millions of people who will be watching across this country and around the world, where a big, bold, beautiful spotlight will be shined on Nashville, Tennessee. So let's come up with those big special ideas and make that as great as it can be. And it takes a team. Huge thank you to Governor Lee for your leadership. To Mayor O'Connell, thank you for leading this city, and we are so excited to lock arms on this. Monica, thank you for your leadership. And certainly to Dina and everybody at the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation. We have so much respect and we just love working with you. So let's do big things together.
That's Peter O'Reilly, Executive Vice President, Club, Business, International, and League Events for the National Football League, saying, quote, in 2030 Super Bowl 64, quote, will be a game changer for the Super Bowl. We'll have reaction with Ramon Foster and wrap up Ramon and Will right after this on 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, man. I'm here to tell you, we don't like dealing with those things at all. Whether it's plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, anytime, especially in an emergency situation. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost you if it get fixed right, or if somebody's trying to sell you something you don't need. When you call Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly, and the price you're told is the price that you'll actually pay. They have zero hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all. Hiller's been in business for over 35 years and are family owned and operated. Their techs are super professional, experienced, and trustworthy. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time, so you're not sitting around wasting your time. They believe in 100% satisfaction every single time. Their motto is, and they live by it, happy you'll be, or the service is free. Just simply put, good people. To learn more about them or to book with them like I do, head over to happyhiller.com.
Ramon and Will, 1045 The Zone, wrapping up the show. Buck Rising show on the way next. Rhett Bryan filling in for Will Bowling. I'll do the same tomorrow, where we will have special announcement tomorrow around 7:30. That'll be good. I think you'll want to tune in for that. The big story has been, since this thing dropped at the owners' meeting in Orlando yesterday, Ramon, and it's been the theme, and probably be this way for a while, is that Super Bowl 64 in 2030 will be at Nissan Stadium right here, new Nissan Stadium, I should say, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. We just finished hearing the opening marks and comments in the press conference that has been held at Nissan Stadium. First from Jim Nance, one of the great voices of broadcasting, who is now a Nashville resident and has been for some time. Quote, "We're going to do it better than anyone else ever," when speaking about the Super Bowl and being a host city, and we aren't going to do it once. It's going to be a recurring thing. Now, that's saying something. This is the Super Bowl now.
Yeah.
But following that up, Peter O'Reilly, the executive VP of Club Business International and League Events for the NFL, says 2030 Super Bowl 64, quote, will be a game changer for the Super Bowl. Wow. In other words, how it's operational in the lead up to, and, you know, all of those kinds of things. And saying, was it Jim Nance? I think, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess it was Jim Nance. Greatest Super Bowl halftime show. Yeah. Like, he's putting it out. They're putting it out there
already.
Jim Nance is waxing eloquently about the city of Nashville. And, I mean, what a great soundtrack voice for the beginning of the infomercial for Tennessee, for Middle Tennessee.
He laid it out, man. Very confident in everything that he was saying about the Super Bowl coming to Nashville. And like he said, too, in his comments, like, the idea that this won't be a one-time thing, and he's talked to numerous people that, you know, back him up on the idea of Nashville staying in the rotation, puts a lot of emphasis on how big this is, how far Nashville has come as well. That's huge to me, man. If you're from here and watch this city grow the way it has, I think since 2012, 2013 is when it just started to escalate up. And then it jumped again in 2018, 19. And we're watching it more so do it again now with the development of so many businesses leaving other states to come here too. Be proud of it, Tennessee. This is what you want. This is how you move forward and continually push the ceiling up.
I mean, you're really saying something when you have a league official and a VP giving comments like that. And Jim Nance, listen, here's the thing. Jim Nance has lived here long enough, and he has certainly been a part of, I mean, he called 7 Super Bowls, and he's been in Super Bowl cities when he hasn't been calling the game on CBS. He would know, but you talk about someone that is deep in his convictions about how this is going to work and how they're going to pull it off.
Yep.
And quite honestly, when he says it, I believe him.
I do too. I do too. Because you don't get up there and say it as bold as he did just now in front of this many people who will listen to you kind of roll out the big presser on the Titans getting, or Nashville getting the Super Bowl.
That may, you know, that sparks more conversation. Maybe we talk about that tomorrow on the show about, we don't know, but what are the byproducts from the production and the lead up to of the game that maybe changes because they referenced the 2019 NFL draft and saying how that was a game changer for the draft.
It was.
This will be a game changer for the Super Bowl. So, you know, what are some of the takeaways and how it's done differently? It's because all these other Super Bowl host cities are going, man, we're on notice.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't told who is going to be at, you know, Super Bowl 65 and 2031. That hadn't been awarded yet.
No.
But all those cities where they have convention and visitor bureaus like, you know, that Nashville does, they're like, oh, man, we got to step up the game. Sounds like something's going to get real interesting.
He mentioned real quick, too, the halftime show. Like, who are they going to go after? And who are the other cities going to ask to come and do it? And we'll say no because they want to wait for the Nashville one.
Yeah, because you've got a Super Bowl in L.A. this coming year.
Yeah.
And then I think in Atlanta after that, and then Vegas the year before the the Titans and Nashville have it at new Nissan Stadium. That's an interesting behind-the-scenes conversation of, hey, man, I'm going to wait a minute because I got something to do in 2030. I'll talk to you later. I'm not going to do that.
Right, and they know those usually about a year out. About 8 months out is when they know, too. So,
hey, this is the end of this show. It's been a great one today. We're going to be here tomorrow to do the same thing as I fill in for Will. Thanks for all the great phone calls. Thanks for Jayhawk behind the glass making it happen. The Buck Rising Show is next, but some words of advice from
you
Ramon
must
Foster.
remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.